Fair Nation. Hopefully this is not a terribly one-sided conversation, because we're all smoked. What it is, Thirsty Thursday, when we do prepper, Q&A, or just whatever. Faith, homesteading, preparedness, tactics, strategery, world events, freeze drying, politics, whatever. If you've heard us talk about it on this channel before, feel free to ask your questions here. At 5 minutes in, we'll do what we usually do, where we will go over the rules of the live stream. And yes, praise the Most High. This channel has gotten big enough to the point where we need to have some rules for the live stream. And so we'll cover that at 5 minutes in. We'll give the room an opportunity to populate. Dudley says all the echoes. Why? How's my signals quality, Bear Nation? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good evening, Okies boss. Good evening, Sergeant Storms. Indiana Constitutional Patriots. It might just
be our voices, because we're kind of like congested.
We saw him an hour ago. He knows what our voices sound like. 5x5 ICP. That's the nice. Indiana Constitutional Patriots is ICP. One of the worst shows I've ever gone to. My bassist dragged me to back when Tommy Salter, shalom, brother. Hold on, Tommy. Bless you, brother. I owe you a phone call. I meant to call you today, and I've been ass deep in shit all day. Bless you, brother. I will reach out to you tomorrow. You're a rock star. Wow, bad echo. What? I don't get it. Some of y'all have an echo, and some of y'all don't have an echo. Audio low. I don't. Maybe this is just an indicator that we're not supposed to do this shit tonight. Maybe we're just supposed to hang out and just.
My volume's off.
I don't know.
Pick up from my phone anyway.
My phone's not even on yet.
All right, here we go.
Somebody says Sarah says it just sounds like Bear on the porch in the cold. Or with
now
the
you're
cold.
gonna echo though.
Sarah says it just sounds like Bear on the porch in the cold.
Yeah, we sound normal.
That ain't an echo.
No.
No echo. Levels are fine. Audio's fine. Sounds fine.
We're good. Okay.
Time to get a new phone. Whoever's echoing.
That's not an echo. We're underneath a tin roof,
or
y'all.
It's the bugs.
Look.
Like, maybe y'all just hear the bugs.
I got a new phone today.
You should know. Also, my voice sounds like this because it was 16 degrees 2 days ago and then 80 degrees today. Thank you, Oklahoma. So, I sound a little bit different than usual. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's an echo, though. But I'll be sure to get my sound team of 0 people right on top of it. So,
reset those boom mics.
Reset the boom mics.
We don't have people for.
Well, I mean,
as long as the green screen's working.
As long as the green screen's working, we're fine. The technology these days is so good.
Yeah.
The hell were we talking about earlier?
I don't know.
We're smoked. Everybody's smoked. Tommy Salter, that's right.
Oh,
Bless
no,
you, brother,
ICP.
Tommy. ICP. The worst show I've ever been to. Ever. My bassist, back when I played drums in metal bands, we were in Connecticut, and he dragged me up to Hartford. He's like, bro, there's this sick show coming up. We got to go to this show. I'm like, all right, who's playing? He's like, I don't know, but you're going to love it. You know, you've never heard of these bands. They're going to be great. I'm like, okay, copy that. So we get there, and it's in like a Elks Lodge or like something like that. And I can hear the music inside. And I'm like, this doesn't sound very good. And we go walking inside, and it was a Insane Clown Posse themed Battle of the Bands, populated by and performed by high school children. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It's like, bro, isn't this sick? I was like, no, this is horrendous. Why did we drive 2.5 hours to Hartford to listen to this? It was terrible.
Well, I saw ICP at Red Rocks in Colorado.
Right.
And it was awesome.
The real ones.
The real ones.
Not the wannabe high schoolers.
I stood in the rain in my overalls and my face paint for 3 hours waiting to see them play. And then I got sick from the bass reverberating off of the rocks.
Were you ever a full-blown juggalo?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. We'll talk off camera.
What is that?
Insane Clown Posse. but also Indiana Constitutional
Oh, their
Patriots.
stuff is so funny. Like, it's so bad, but
They're terrible.
It's funny.
They're terrible human beings.
They are.
All right. What's up, Ken? Shalom, brother. 5 minutes in, the rules of the live stream. I guess I should pull that up. It's gonna be a super exciting live stream. I can feel it.
My favorite line of theirs is "Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you."
I don't think they came up with that.
No, but the song that comes from is
okay. Well, and to our first rule, this is a PG-13 show.
I didn't say anything.
I'm just letting you know.
That rule's for you.
Yeah. This is a PG-13 show. Next rule. Don't be a dick. Next rule. No excessive swearing. And this is for everybody. Okay? Next rule. Civil conversation is encouraged in the chat. Keyword being civil. So be civil to one another. The person above you and below you in the chat, that's your brother or sister. Treat them that way. Don't talk shit to one another. Okay? Moderators, as long as the people in the chat are being respectful, if they disagree, let it go. We don't need to ban people who don't think the same as we do, as long as you're being respectful about it. If they're being disrespectful, thanks Hotshot Homestead. If they're being disrespectful, then show them the door. I swear, I think we do live streams now simply to just bring the scumbags out of the woodwork so that we can ban them. And that's fun. I enjoy it. Next rule, if you have a question for me, put it in all caps. That doesn't mean I'm gonna see it. It doesn't guarantee I'm gonna see it. And if I do see it, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna answer it. And so, I don't know what to tell you. If you put the same thing 15 times in a row and it's in all caps, maybe I haven't seen it, maybe I haven't, I don't want to answer it, okay? What's up, Bedby? But that's just how you do it here, okay? So, all caps for your questions. Jerks will be banned after the first warning. This is not a democracy. This is my porch. You are at my house right now. Most of your basic questions that y'all are going to ask about basic preparedness have already been answered in depth on the Patreon, or not Patreon, although Patreon for sure, but on the YouTube playlist, Prepper Classroom, here on YouTube. It's free. It costs no money. It's in a playlist here on our channel, the Prepper Classroom. So there's probably an answer to your basic prepper questions already. And then as always, your promo code at Refuge Medical is Bear Nation. 1 word or 2 words, because some people struggle with the space bar. That's fine. 1 word or 2 words that get you free shipping for everything in the store at refugemedical.com. And with that, we're going to start the show. Thoughts. What are your What are your thoughts on the largest nuclear plant in Europe on fire right now from Russian shelling? My husband gave me his thoughts, and I'm really concerned. Angela, I must be honest with you. I don't have a good answer to that question right now because I've been doing business stuff and sheep stuff all day. The last intel drop that I got was at 7 a.m. today, and now I'm not caught up on Ukraine currently.
No, we just finished.
We literally just finished hardcore homesteading.
Sat down, had 30 minutes to talk and
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm not sure who you're talking
Am
to.
I allowed to show this
Yeah.
awesomeness on camera? You want to say hi?
Do you want to say hi?
Oh, yes! Bear Nation! What's good, kid?
She's like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
look at you.
Executive in training. That's my little buddy right there. That's my little buddy right there.
Nothing?
No,
Look, they're
it's all
talking about
good.
you. They're saying hi.
It's all good. Knife hands? That's right, knife hand. There you go. Good job. That's my little executive assistant right there. So, I'm losing my current home, have to sell mom's house, and haven't found a replacement yet. DL, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, brother. I really don't know. I'm sorry to hear that. But the Father knows what he's doing. Whatever, feels right, but is super scary.
go there.
Pray over that and be like, yeah, is this your will? Is this what you want me to do, Father?
Yeah.
And if he goes, yeah, then you go, okay. Tier W, thank you for all you guys do. Keep up the hard work. Tier W, bless you, man. I appreciate that. Tier W's been here a long a long time, man. SSDL Hemingway, SS Hotshot Homestead. Man, I love it. You guys have been here a long time. Bear, I carry 2 hyphens. Do you have a video on improvised chest seals? Yes, I do. Let me see if I can find it right now. Yankee. He's a Yankee. Well, not anymore.
While you're doing that, Bear does not use any beard products. He's all natural.
All natural. That's right.
Just natural salt oil and
That's
sawdust, right?
What did Donnie O'Keefe say?
Hey brother, thank you for being the absolute badass brother that you are to us all. You inspire all of us in more ways than we can even process. Thank the Father for all that you do and never yield an inch in your pursuit.
Praise Yah. Thank you.
Donnie.
I appreciate that, Donnie.
And
Shalom, brother.
Shalom, man. Someone today is like, I don't know if I need a hyphen chest seal in my kit.
That's
because
cute.
we do a lot of chainsaw and tree removal and woodwork, so I don't think we're gonna need that.
Until a limb falls out of the tree and goes through your
He
chest.
uses lasagna oil.
Or you flip the skid steer over and a limb pokes you through the chest. Or car accidents. Sometimes people get impaled on like the stick shift or something in the truck or the car. Hey, so speaking of chest seals, I just so I looked it up. I forget who asked, but the question about the chest seals, but how to apply a hyphen chest seal. So I've got that. There's that video there that I just posted in the chat, and then I believe I touch on it in that video, but it's a year ago, so I don't remember. But any occlusive dressing, right? You can take the wrapper from the chest seal, put it over the wound, and take your tape, and you're gonna, let's say, I got notes from my Bible right here. Let's say this is it, right? And I put this over here. You're gonna run your tape over 3 corners. You're gonna leave 1 corner loose. And the reason for that is about every 10 to 15 minutes, although it's anywhere between 3 and 20 minutes, but statistically 10 to 15 minutes, the person that you apply the chest seal to is going to start, their respiration is going to become distressed. And that's because when you put the chest seal on, you're creating back pressure that can actually cause a pneumothorax, that there's air in the pleural space. And the reason we put the chest seal back on is your lungs operate in a vacuum inside the pleural space, right? And so if there's no vacuum, when your diaphragm moves, when it pulls down, that causes your lungs to expand. Well, if there's a hole in that box, when the diaphragm pulls down, there's no vacuum, so the lungs don't expand. Air just goes in and out of the hole. And so now when you cover that up, when the diaphragm pulls down, it sucks the occlusive dressing to the hole, which allows the lungs to expand. But you'll get, there can be bleeding, there can be viscous fluid, and there can be intrusion of air, and also possibly lung gases in there, all of which creates pressure in the pleural space, which is called the pneumothorax. So all that to say, when that happens, you're going to burp the chest seal or the improvised chest seal. You just pull the corner up, and you lift up, and you can usually hear a then you cover that back up. And also, when you apply a chest seal, if you're working with a conscious patient, you're going to say, exhale, exhale, exhale. And you want them to blow out as much air as they can, because that lifts the diaphragm as far up as it can inside the pleural space. Then you cover it up, which means now you're reestablishing as much suction inside of the pleural space as possible. So, but you can do that with any occlusive dressing. You can do that with petrolatum gauze. You can do it with the wrapper from the chest seals. It was done in Vietnam with the plastic from cigarette packs. Anything that covers the hole, the puncture to the pleural space. And the idea of not needing chest seals in a first aid kit is probably just naivete, and that's okay. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you have a puncture to the pleural space, the only thing that's going to fix that, other than a surgeon, is covering that hole back up again. And that's what chest seals do. You're going to go into respiratory distress within about 3 minutes. you're gonna literally asphyxiate because your lungs can't fill. It's gonna get bad. So
Just put pressure on your heart and your
And
heart attack.
they don't take up any space.
that's a great point. They don't take up any space. Raul Duke, what advice do you have for someone coming from a similar situation that you went through? I didn't grow up in the faith, but black metal, drugs, debauchery, etc. Trying to find my way back home now. Boy, do I know black metal, drugs, and debauchery. So that's a great question. If you're feeling called back to the faith, you need to lean into that. Okay, so you need to honor the fact that the creator of the universe is outstretching his hand towards you. And I could get super deep into this. The outstretched hand in Hebrew is representative of the yod, which is Y-shaped, and it's the right hand of the Father. The right hand of the Father is Messiah, Mashiach, Yeshua, Jesus, right? There's tons of symbolism. There's all that. But you need to honor the fact that the Father is pursuing you, and that of all the billions of people who have ever lived, he saw fit to redeem you and reach out to you and bring you home again. And even if that doesn't make any sense to you, you have to honor that conviction that he put on your heart, and teshuva, which means to turn back to him. Study his word. I mean, get a Bible. I don't care what copy. I don't care what translation. Get a Bible. I use this one. It's called the Scriptures, isr-messianic.org. And read it. Where do I start? The first page. Read it. And then start learning from there. And if you're carrying around some shit in your soul, if your soul's dirty, if you're carrying around some shit that you shouldn't be, you have to turn that over to the Father. You have to give that to him. You have to repent of that, teshuva, turn from it. Don't do any more of that bullshit. But you have to give it to him. You literally say, hey, Father, I can't carry this anymore. I'm going to give it to you. And you give it away. And once you give it away, it's not yours anymore. It's his. So stop doing that. Stop thinking about it. Stop being concerned about it. It's gone. I saw it. The super chats are all over the place tonight.
Tomahawk and 468 said, I'm parked outside of the movie theater, but decided to stick with you guys because your show is better. Batman can wait. Blessings from Kern County.
Who said that? Tomahawk?
Yeah.
Thanks, Tomahawk.
And then the AJ Fam 871 said, Bear from California, Bay Area, thanks for what you do. You're a great man. I was into basic EDC, but now have buckets filled with food and prep on my property thanks to you. It's my job to provide, protect my family, even though they are not on board.
Amen. You are correct. And praise Yah. Praise Yah that he can use this stupid little channel to do big things.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to the question about black metal, drugs, and debauchery. Yeah, that was my life. You turn your life back over to the person that made it in the first place. And even if it's scary, even if you don't understand it, you go, hey, I'm here. Isaiah 6 verse 8, here I am, send me. And he said, go. Go do what I told you to do. Go. Right? You lean into that, and then all of a sudden good stuff starts happening. And the Father can use you to do incredible things. And it's not because I'm awesome. I'm not awesome. It's because he's awesome. And so I'm just proof of the fact that he can take busted up people and do some good stuff with them. So, what else we got?
Bear versus Batman.
Bear versus Batman.
Bear wins.
It's okay. The new Batman is the sparkly vampire from Twilight.
Do you want to say hi to people? Go ahead and say that again.
The new Batman is the sparkly vampire guy from Twilight. He will always be that guy.
Are they really the same person? It's the same actor? I don't know. Has there been a Batman since Michael Keaton? I
Wasn't
mean,
it Ben Affleck last time?
No, I mean an actual Batman, not a pretend Batman.
I don't know.
iFax and extras came in today. Bless you, brother Tommy.
Bear, do you do affiliate sales for your products?
We sure do. Sales at refugemedical.com. Sales at refugemedical.com.
Email us and we'll check you out and see what's up.
We also do retail.
Yes.
I mean, and we also
Wholesale.
do wholesale is what I mean. If you're a retail establishment and you want to get a wholesale discount, there is a minimum order. But What do you got, Ups, man? Ups, girl. Ups, lady. Ups, madam. You must be a new driver. Are you a new driver?
Yeah.
Okay, you can leave it right there. Thank you very much.
You'll have a good night.
You too.
Do we sell suture kits?
Not currently, but we're working on getting those in the pipeline.
Not separately.
Right.
No, not practice suture kits. We have kits that have sutures in them.
Yes.
The adventure kit, the stomp bag. What else has sutures in it? The adventure kit and the stomp bag, mini stomp.
Yeah, it's on Renee's list.
It's on the list.
Does it see
I'm telling you guys.
People could email less
Yeah.
than I.
Play nice. Play nice.
CLS have it?
Actually, we
I
hired new
No,
answered
staff.
CLS does not.
Okay.
CLS Combat Lifesavers designed for TCCC tactical field care, and we don't do wound closures in tactical field care. We stop bleeding in tactical field care, and so that's low level surgery. It's technically surgery to stitch somebody up, and that happens off the X after the casualty evacuation. Best place to buy canning jars, etc. You got any tips, tricks, hints for that?
Walmart.com.
Yeah, Walt.
I buy them there all the time.
All the time.
At
Walmart.com.
good prices.
Walmart.com and good prices.
And
That's
they'll ship them
Renee.
to you, and they just show up. They're amazing.
Mr.
Free
Sharp
shipping.
said, I've been watching you, Bear, for months now after I randomly came across your channel, and I sent my mother a link to your videos, and she absolutely loves you and is taking your advice.
What's his name?
Mr. Sharp.
Mr. Sharp's mom. Glad to have you on board. Also, Mr. Sharp, bless you. Thank you.
Good job sharing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's not even a tickle in my throat. It's just my voice is just gone.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
happened to me a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah, it's been going around.
my wife. Yeah.
Yeah, it was up Bell's way for a while. And
Sweeney, super chat.
I know Brandon Sweeney.
Hey brother, any help with the struggle internally
So big.
of not feeling worthy of Yah and His glory and forgiveness? Thank
So,
you for your time.
Brandon Sweeney,
Baby trying to swipe the teeth.
you're not worthy of Yah's glory. You're not worthy of Yah's forgiveness. Stop taking it lightly. He killed himself for you. He sent his son to earth to make a way home for you again. And this is not some Catholic bullshit guilt trip. This is just a fact. The only way for him to redeem the world, or those select few out of the world who call upon his son's name and therefore are saved, was for him to come to earth and kill himself. And so we don't take that lightly. You're not worthy of that. I'm not worthy of that. You go to combat and your brother in arms lays down his life for you so you could come home and live. You're not worthy of that. It's the same thing. Yeshua, Messiah, did the same thing, except he did it for everyone. Not just one person, he did it for everyone. You can't repay that, but what you can do is live in their honor.
Honor, yeah.
Right? And so you're commanded in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. For this you were called, the Messiah having suffered for your sins, that you might walk in his steps. That in him there is no sin, and no deceit is found in his mouth. That being reviled, he did not revile in return, but committed himself to him who judges righteously, who hung upon the timber for your sins, for you were like sheep who had gone astray, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. So you were called to walk in his steps. Do what he did. Live a righteous life. Be a good example. And you can't pay for that. You can't make up for that. You're not worthy of it. I'm not worthy of it. None of us are. The best that we can do with that is to honor the sacrifice that was made on our behalf, because the Father thought enough of us to come to earth and kill himself so that you, his son or his daughter, could come home again. I hope that helps.
Hot Shot Homestead said, thanks for the shout out, Bear. I try to watch all the content you put out. I've gotten way better at doing the things since I've stumbled across your channel. Way better off than I was when I was following CPD.
Praise Yah and no Lashon Hurrah.
Yeah. And let me know, said, because Yahweh.
Nice.
Then somebody else.
Lots of comments, lots of questions
I
tonight.
know.
Praise Yah. Hey, Josh Chambers, we love you back.
Are you going to the SOE?
Oh,
thing?
the next Self-Reliance
Yes.
Festival, June 10th and 11th. Huh. Is there a reason I would know that the next one is in Camden, Tennessee at Special Operations Equipment Headquarters on June 10th and 11th?
I didn't know.
I'll just leave it at that. How's that for an answer?
Major Kid said, bring back the back porch babes. I can't say boo.
They violate half of the rules of the live stream.
Right. We're not allowed on
It is
until
not a
way after
PG-13
dark.
show. There's lots of excessive swearing. But they have excellent
It's our
information.
branding.
It's your branding?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally in our logo.
Then start a channel called Back Porch Bitches and just do what you do.
Yeah.
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 It's like a lot of work.
Yeah.
We just want to use your channel.
Sorry, buddy.
Dick B words.
Do you have time for that?
I do not have time for
I
that.
hope
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say that's
No,
the
you're
hardest
fine.
part
No,
is
she's
us
fine,
getting
dude.
together.
legit. If it's an
On
issue,
time.
say something. Let me know.
If she's not upset, she's
Especially now, like we've gotten a lot busier. Like we've always been busy,
Oh my gosh.
but
I don't want
so
to.
you
our
can
lives
hold
have
her
gotten
and
a
smoke if you
whole
want.
lot
Don't
more
care.
busy.
Chuck
Since-
Peoples. Are you coming to Self-Reliance in June? Did I hear that right? You didn't hear anything. You just might have to infer the fact that I know for a fact that it's in Camden, Tennessee at SOE headquarters on June 10th and 11th. Take that information and do with that what you will. How's that for an answer?
So you're looking at Mr. Bear.
That's my buddy right there.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take over the world together. Rawr. What flavor you smoking, Bear? Well, let's get that one out of the way. Deadwood Tobacco Company, Fat Bottom Betty, Gordo, 6x60.
Somebody wants to know, did you eat that turkey yet?
Hell
Heck
yeah!
we did. See, I even said heck.
Good for
You
you.
said the wrong word.
I won.
That's just the place that
Hell
don't.
yeah, we did. Yeah. Yes, we did.
That's me normally. Yeah, we let it rest for 24 hours and then I like cooked it the next day. So,
You don't want
and
to do it.
he was delicious. He was tasty, Tom.
He was the bomb. Tasty Tom. I love that. I can't see the questions from
I know
here.
you can't. 'cause
They're
you're
like
blind.
the letters are this big. They're like this big,
So
and they go
how
by this
late do you
fast.
plan on streaming?
How late do you plan on streaming? Every time I do one of these, I plan to do it for an hour, and then at 4 hours later, I'm like, gosh, we gotta go to bed.
But our kids don't have school. So. If a married man dies without having a son, should the dead man's brother bear a child in honor of the dead brother with the dead brother's wife?
There's a Torah for that. I would say before you even get concerned with that, keep the Sabbath, keep the feast, wear the Zitziot, and eat clean. That being said, yes, there's a Torah for that. So, but before you get into the weeds on the 613, start with the 10. Start with that, and then do everything from there. But if you're already doing the 10, like you got the 10 down, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You do Leviticus 11, you do Leviticus 23, you do Numbers 15, verse 37. You do all of that, and you're like, hey, I might die, my wife needs a covering, then yeah, you should read the Torah, and if that's how you're so convicted, go for it. So.
The next one is no.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, the
So
IV
don't
kit?
hate your sister-in-law or start early in the process. Yeah.
Are you ever going to sell the K9 IV kits separately, or are they only going to be in the K9 kits?
Right now they're only in the K9 kits because of supply chain.
Yeah, I don't
I
think people
think-
know that there are not that many available.
Really try not to harp on this because I don't want to scare people into purchasing anything. But I'm being dead straight with you guys. I always am. We were talking about this. We had a meeting earlier today. I'm like, I am the world's worst liar. If I even start brushing up against something that's like an untruth, it's all over my face. My voice changes.
It gets way higher.
My body
Yeah.
temperature goes up. My blood pressure goes up. I get shifty eyes. Like, I'm bad at lying. Which is, I think, a good thing. I'm bad at lying. And so I don't want to scare people into buying stuff. But I also don't want to bullshit you. Supply chain's a real deal. We're not going to sell you something on Refuge Medical that we can't get and fulfill. And so we're playing things very tight to the vest right now. If you've placed an order, or placed an order tonight, or tomorrow, or next Thursday, or 2 years from now, if you place that order, we will fill it. Like Optics Planet, I hate them. I hate their business model. In stock, buy now. You buy it, and then you get an email that's like, we're so sorry, it's out of stock. And then 7 months later, you get an email that goes, literally 7 months later, hey, your product's in stock. Thanks for holding my money for 7 months, dude.
Still waiting on a work comp.
Yep, still waiting on a work comp. So, they owe me a 1 to 8. I think it's been over a year. They owe me a 1 to 8. Anyway, if you buy it at Refuge Medical, it's because we can fill that order. It wouldn't be available for you to buy at Refuge Medical if we couldn't fill that order. Granted, we're 4 to 6 week fulfillment time right now, but you're going to get your stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that we can't get, or it's very intermittent. North American Rescue, we're on the phone with NAR every day. Is that an exaggeration? Every day?
I email multiple times a day with NAR,
Yeah.
or I'm on the phone.
So we email or speak directly with North American Rescue every day. And this is not me knocking them because they're subject to the same supply and demand issues that we are. They feel the same market forces that we do. So I'm not knocking North American Rescue at all. But we're on the phone or on email with them every day. Like, we need this. Do you have that? Can you go to the warehouse right now and grab 400 of these and set these aside for us? We have to have these, like, every damn day.
Or
gosh.
I'm having to source NAR stuff from other companies that actually have it on their shelf because NAR doesn't have it.
Yeah, oh.
Like, stupid.
That's
We're buying other
really
companies'
fun.
inventory.
You guys
Yep.
using that? We need it.
Yeah, like, do you have
Yeah,
it? Are you
and-
sure? Can you see it?
Let me get that
in many-
compressed gauze, man.
That's a good point. In many cases, we're buying NAR equipment from other vendors at retail to be able to fill your orders if we can't get it directly from NAR. So,
Libs.
so as far as IV fluids are concerned, when we can get IV fluids for your dog, we will get them for your dog to be available for your dog. Much like when your fish gets sick and you give it some fish amoxicillin, when your dog gets dehydrated, when we can make those available, we absolutely will make those available. Right now we can't get it.
I was going to say, if anybody knows a good supply chain,
Just
email.
can't get it.
it.
So,
Subject line.
So I want to know, what kind of sheep do y'all breed and raise, and are they low maintenance haircut wise?
that's a you question.
Yeah.
Send it, sweetie.
So we raise Katahdin sheep, and they are a hair sheep, not a wool sheep. Therefore, they don't need haircuts. They don't need to be sheared. They get extra fluffy in the wintertime, and then they lose that all on their own. They will rub up against trees or fencing or whatever they have to scratch their butts on, and they will shed their winter coat, and they have a very, almost like short hair to them, and very low maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been doing sheep all day
All day today.
today.
We took our flock from 27 to 15 today.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. We were able to bless 3 different families today with sheep,
Mm-hmm.
and we still have pregnant ewes out in
I
the
still
field
have
right
sheep.
now.
I still have plenty of sheep.
Unless, like, legitimately, like, nuclear fallout or something like that happens, we're gonna keep making sheep. And what's awesome is like we started with 6 sheep.
Yeah.
And we've blessed at least a half a dozen families with sheep. And we were blessed when we started with the 6 sheep that we started with. So it's cool, right? Like it's the parable of the talents. Hey, here's a coin, don't hide it in the ground, right? Go out and turn it into something else, right? And so we were blessed with sheep. We paid below fair market value for meat for excellent breeding stock. And that was an awesome deal. And then we've blessed at least a half a dozen families over the years with what we call Hebrew starter packs. And we've eaten a lot of them as well. And we still got a whole bunch more in the front yard.
They're so delicious.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yes.
Just
What do you feed them, T?
briefly talk about men's retreat and the sheep at men's retreat.
So I wasn't a part of the cooking of the sheep, but I witnessed the cooking of the sheep, and there was some awesome like rub that was put on it, and there was like this outdoor fire pit smoker rotisserie thing,
Wow,
and
nice.
it was the best. And it was mutton, it wasn't lamb, right?
Yeah, it was a
That
2-year-old
mutton.
you.
Yeah, that was mutton, and it was
Oh,
tender
it was
and
sick.
so juicy, and
The one at our wedding.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was
Really
good
good,
too. Yep, that was one of your sheep too.
Yeah.
Yep, and that
Was
was,
it? Yeah, it was.
It was
That's
awesome.
broke dick.
Yeah.
Bro, BD. That's right.
BD.
I forgot
I
about
still
that.
think that's not the best choice for a wedding.
Hey,
He was
Well, hey, listen,
Proof
we
is-
know
I know.
there's proof.
proof is lapsed in feeding currently. So,
Yeah,
I
I
saw-
Later on, we were like, huh.
I saw somebody said that they saw the Freedom Convoy, that one of the truckers had a large Bear Nation flag. That's cool. That's really cool. Somebody had to make that flag because I don't think we've offered flags.
No, we haven't.
No.
So I know somebody else offers flags. You can get some Howitzer Hill flags at bearindependent.com, by the way. Bear,
Master-
Freedom's
none.
memory.
Oh, is that
Send
what you're
it.
reading? Oh. Bear, I just signed up on Patreon. I wanted to thank you for everything that you do for the community. Also, a big thank you for helping me rediscover my faith in Messiah and God. Kevin, Quebec.
awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Praise the Father, man.
What's the best cut of meat on a sheep? The tenderloin,
Yeah, the tenderloin or the
inside, the leg, the what you call that thing?
fish tenders.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was delicious
The-
too.
it's under the back straps inside the body cavity.
Or diced anything in a Dutch oven on
Dutch oven?
open
Yeah.
fire
That
pit.
we have to eat before sun up on Passover.
Yeah,
Dude, that was so good.
that was
I
good.
froze the ones from the wedding, like vacuum sealed them and froze them for 6 months, and then we ate them with eggs often.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It was good.
That sounds awesome.
It was already seasoned and everything. It was delicious.
I like the hindquarters as well. Where to buy iodide potassium?
Wherever you
Anywhere-
can find it.
Anywhere a month ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nowhere
nowhere.
now.
Yeah.
Anywhere a month ago. Nowhere.
Be careful.
now.
There's things out there you think are the
That's-
right thing.
And
It's not.
Potassium iodine is not
go ahead.
iodine and potassium.
say that again.
Yeah, potassium iodine is not where they take iodine and potassium and put them in the same bottle. It's not the same thing.
You can't buy them separately.
Yeah, so there's like combo capsules out there that are like potassium and iodine put together. And that's not the same thing. So
China.
If you Google that and end up on Amazon, I promise you it's not the right thing.
Yeah. You're looking
Try.
for IOSAT.
Iostat, I mean, they used to have it where you could buy the generic, but that's long gone. Iosat's long gone. We
Yep.
tried to become a distributor so we could provide it for you guys. They don't even answer the phone.
We-
They're
we-
like, we're done.
Well, we tried this months ago,
months
but
ago. Yeah,
but
this was
forget
months
it.
ago. This was not recently, like 6 months ago. Like
Yep.
they knew. They're
Big
on.
pharma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And IOSAT used to be like the 14-day pack, the 14 whatever pack. You get in the little white flat paper thing. Used to be like $3.
Oh.
And I saw it was like $28 or something
I had them on
like that.
subscribe and save for years, and it was like $4 or $5 a month, and it would come and it would replenish our supply every once in a while. Years. Now I'm like,
I didn't know you could get it on subscribe and save.
I love me some subscribe and save. Anything that is auto ship in my family is like,
Somebody said the best part of shit is the back strap. That's
know,
awesome.
Here's something that I noticed though about taking care of sheep.
They taught us that sheep make what sound when we were in school?
Baa.
With a B. There is no B from a sheep.
No, that's
It's
correct.
ma.
Yeah.
It's with an M. They lied.
Definitely.
We've been lied to our entire
Did you know
lives.
that, like, in Europe and Canada, their sounds for animals are totally different than ours?
Are they?
Like, there's a whole thing. Like, if you would say in America, you'd say, like, what does a dog say? And we say ruff, ruff.
Or woof.
Or woof, woof. They're, it's totally different. They're like,
bark,
Bow,
bark.
bow,
bark.
Arf,
I don't know
arf.
what it is.
Bow, wow,
Arf,
wow.
arf. It's totally different. And even in different parts of the country, it's different. Yeah, bow, wow, wow. It's different. And, like, it's that way with, like, all animals.
Sam goes barf.
TikTok teaches you things.
My dog goes, I'm gonna
Find
kill
refuge medical. I'm
you.
saying.
That's what my
In a low tone voice.
That's what my dog says. I'm gonna kill you.
You're dancing on ice on Refuge on TikTok, aren't you?
The cow says Shazoo. No. Okay.
It's like an elephant saying "pawoo."
Woo. That one was ridiculous. What was that? Was that one of the
Elephant
Weasel's
says that?
shows?
Yeah,
Or was
it
it
was-
like that thing that you...
No, it was a song.
Oh, yeah. The elephant says "pawoo." Like, that is not what elephants say. I've never met an elephant that said "pawoo."
Dude, watching Sam over the last, like 2 years almost at this point, man.
What
Like,
does the fox
I
say?
remember, like, the
Yeah.
first time I really
That's
hung
what it
out
was.
with you here, and it was, like, what, my first actual day here?
Uh-huh.
Freaking truck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And he's still here, man, and it's like, yeah, I got ran over by a truck. That was
A
funny.
guy broke his diesel truck on me.
Yeah.
I'm
When he was
fine.
a baby.
Yeah,
he was.
that dog is a tank, man.
He's over there.
That dude started driving real slow after that because he was like, those guys are going to kill me.
Yeah, we told the cop we were gonna kill him. Why y'all speeding through my town? We're
That
gonna
guy
kill
hit-
that guy in the pickup truck up there.
That guy hit my dog in front of my kids.
Yeah, why? He ran over my dog while my kids were walking down the road. And the cop,
Don't do that.
law, yeah, legitimate
Oklahoma's
law
different.
enforcement officer, complete certified officer, kind of like looks up the road, looks the other way up the road, hands us our documents back, and he goes, "Do that shit out in the country. Don't do it in my town. Get the hell out of here." Yes, sir. Sounds good. We'll do that shit out in the country.
We're gonna keep looking for this dude.
I'm telling you, Oklahoma, like, I joke, like, we have like 4 laws. That's it. Like, one of them is don't drive fast through small towns.
I went up
Yeah.
on the Oklahoma website.
I went up on the actual Oklahoma State website and read pretty much every law that they had. And there were a few where you read what the title description is. You're like,
Mhm.
okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. And I was like, do you know that you can't wrestle bears in Oklahoma?
Bring it.
Or you can't trip horses either. That's a thing. But yeah, like I was reading through the laws, and what's awesome about them, they are so well written in how they're simple and easy to understand.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle
right?
Sam.
That guy. But
I'm not government property.
No.
Repeat after me. I am no longer government
I'm
property.
not. You gave, my contract has been fulfilled. But yeah, like the laws out here are just so simply written too that the common man can read them, and there's no funny language in them that it's like lawyer talk. Like, and it's pretty cool, man. Like I really, and it was easy. I'm like, man, it's easy to be a cop out here. The laws, there's like 10.
Yeah,
There's like 10 laws, and the majority of them are traffic related.
it's like, hey, are you doing some sketchy stuff? Get out of the vehicle. Oh, you're a decent human being? All right, you tail lights out. Have a nice day.
What do they come up with crazy laws? Like no eating ice cream after 3 p.m. with one leg up in the
It
air.
was Alabama.
It's
or
because
Kentucky
somebody
or
did something stupid that one time, and they're like, we got to take care of Jimbo. Like,
I feel like
this
that's
can
an
never
abusive
happen.
Jimbo's gonna be like, it's not a law.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, I'm the mayor. Is now.
Are the sheep silent when TJ walks out?
No.
Yes. Well,
When I
Ish.
walk, when
They
I'm
run
walking
away.
back from the barn
They all moved.
with a rifle in my hand, they
Yeah.
get really quiet.
yeah, they run.
They get quiet,
They
and
huddle
but you
up.
hear them because they're like,
So I've actually started. It's what an interesting conversation we get to have every Thursday evening. I've actually started shooting my sheep from much farther away with precision
So they
rifles.
can't actually see it.
Right, so they don't know that the bear man's in the front yard with a rifle again.
American sheep sniper.
American sheep sniper, that's right. But it's part of why all you people who are deranged in the head who are like, I'm gonna take a 22 rifle when the world ends. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
I've shot a ram in the head 4 times with a 22, and that dude just ate it. Just ate it like a champ. He was just looking at me like, what are you doing? Why did you just shoot me in the head? Stop shooting me in the head. And I'm talking like direct hits in the head, and he just ate it. Finally, I was like, somebody bring me a freaking AR. This is like the most inhumane thing I've ever done. One 50 grain AMAX round to the head. It literally picks them up and throws them into the dirt, and they're dead before they hit the ground. And so, yeah, well, there's no replacement for shot placement. 4 rounds in the brain pan on a simple mammal from 25 yards, direct hits, and he just ate it. No big deal.
I just bought a 22 this week. I got a little. I found a little Ruger 1022 for $325 with the scope.
But I don't
That's
expect
awesome.
to
Yeah.
kill.
I love the Ruger 1022.
I'll tell you about that place.
I
It's a
just
nice
ain't.
place.
I just not going to war with one.
The
No,
mechanic
no.
with its gun shop.
You know what?
That's a great business model. A mechanic that's a gun shop.
Yeah.
Browse while you wait.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's got he's got cans of some European-made 5.56. I've never seen shinier brass.
Nice.
I'm gonna go get a can.
Nice.
But-
Yeah, we'll talk off camera
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. 22s are good for roosters that don't know how to shut the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes they're not. I shot a rooster with a 45 hollow point. You know what it did? It ran behind a tree.
You shot
So-
it 6 times.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And they were hits. Finally, we go ahead and we start. I shot it. It got behind a tree. I pied around the tree, and I took a 22 and I shot it right in the head, and boom! And so now it's dropping. Like, it can't go anywhere now. And I'm like, there's no way we missed it that many times.
No.
And so we start peeling the feathers off of it. It had 7 bullet holes in it. 7 bullet holes in it. So the whole, oh, well, is there no replacement for shot placement? Okay, copy that. Yeah, 32 foot-pounds of energy when that thing hits. It's like, if you've ever accidentally smacked your thumb with a hammer while you were doing something, that's more energy than 32 foot-pounds. And you're like, but that's what I'm going to take to war? Okay, copy that. Best of luck to you.
That was that was like one of the first 10 videos that I've ever seen you make was like 22 LR for SHTF, and you're like, I'm not going to war with it, man. I'm like, yeah, we go to war with 5.56.
Yeah, at a minimum. At a minimum, I want 5.56.
And people complain about 5.56 and the words of Clint Smith, you know him.
Yeah, I had never seen him fucking jump into that thing that I want to take his place. Yeah, but
no.
yeah, but Clint Smith, legend for sure. But even then, like, people complain that the 5.56, if you're running around with a 5.56, you're undergunned. But then you're like, no, I'm going to take a 22 long rifle, to say nothing of reliability issues. I'm going to take a 22 long rifle to defend my life in chaos actual. What are you kidding me? Well, it's small. It's lightweight. It's economical. No, it's not economical anymore. It is cheaper than 5.56. It is smaller.
I got a box of 500 for $85.
The guns weigh a little bit less. All that being said, it ain't 5.56. So we don't fight wars with rimfires, okay?
You teach your children how to use them with rimfires.
Yeah.
Right. It's a training weapon.
Like I said, like, I'll shoot your eye out,
Or for rodents. Yeah.
but I don't expect to kill you.
And
I'll
here's
just
the
make you
thing.
blind.
While you're shooting people's eyes out with the 22, we've talked about this.
Distraction.
We've talked about this 100 times. The day my wife has to shoulder a rifle in defense of this homestead, things are so bad already at that point. You tell me all the competent men are gone? Like, everybody, like, what happened? Everybody's dead? We all had to leave, but somehow my wife is still here 100% alone, and she's going to wage war with a 22?
No.
What fantasy world do people live in? I don't get it.
Renee's gone because she's trying to drive a truck pulling a trailer.
This is true. This is true. Go for the jugular. Okay.
Pelvic girdle, man.
Sarah. Oh, man. My 454 Casul is brutal to shoot. Yup. Greetings from the free side of Canada. Nice hat, Bunker. I didn't know there was a free side of Canada. That's cool.
It's called the American side.
South of that border.
Fair. Your thoughts on disabled people and prepping for survival?
So I've gotten that question a lot. I've addressed it a few times on Patreon, but it was a while ago, a year or more ago.
Are you streaming on YouTube or Patreon? Right?
We're on YouTube right now.
Cool. Oh yeah, the super chats. That's right.
So, as far as prepping, if you're disabled, it's a lot like the question of like, what do I do to prep if I have fill in the blank, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever.
One leg.
You know,
What's the mission?
you know what you need. What do you need?
Well,
Like, how are you already performing life? Because the idea behind prepping is to perpetuate normalcy for the people that you love. And so you need to perpetuate normalcy for the people that you love. And if that's you right now, you're the only one that you love that's into prepping, okay. So that's you. But if it's you and your circle, your tribe, your team, your mag, your whatever, okay, so be it. What are you already doing? You just need to go deeper on that, right? So how do you prep as a disabled person? Big part of that's being part of a team. But here's the thing. Like, everybody should be part of a team. And people all the time are like, I can't be part of an SHTF team. I'm in a wheelchair. Oh, because everybody on the team needs to be 100% tactically squared away. So all we're going to do in the end of the world is shoot people. That means we live in the wrong place and our tactics suck. We have no need whatsoever for somebody who's air quote disabled at all. We don't need somebody to show peace. We don't need somebody to teach kids. We don't need somebody to work the ham radio. We don't need somebody to do dishes. We don't need somebody to sit in an LP or an OP and to observe. We don't need and think of it again. We talk about disabling. How disarming is somebody in a wheelchair collecting recon, right? I mean, are you kidding me? There's 1,000 things that you can do that I can't do because I'm big and scary looking, right? And so,
Don't be
Don't be
victim.
Yeah,
Don't
like-
be the victim.
yeah, don't be a
Come in with
victim.
what you can do.
Just plug into a team. And for everybody out there who's like, I don't know if I want this disabled guy on a team, whatever that disability looks like, yeah, you do, because you want people. And people are fearfully and wonderfully made by the Creator. And we're all different, and we're all supposed to be different. You know how friggin' boring life would be if we were all the same?
I've met
Send
very
it.
capable people with
Real
that.
life example, and I'll say real life example because it's going around the internet right now, but I have no way to verify this. And this was the story that y'all shared this morning about Ukrainian grandma who fed a bunch of Russians that were hungry in her home, put a bunch of laxatives in their food.
Doing a bunch of X-Lax.
They went over to the one side of the house where all of her bathrooms were, and then she locked that side of the house down and then burned it down with them inside of it. Grandma was a spy.
Yeah.
She committed espionage.
Yeah.
They're, like what T was saying, there is so much that people can do. Like, I can't do spy stuff. I can't go and walk through a checkpoint in the middle of New York City without getting stopped and frisked.
Yep.
I can't, because I'm a military age male.
Yep.
But man, if you're a dude in a wheelchair or a guy with a walker or a cane or grandma with her, her little roller,
A bad
roller
hip
thing,
or whatever, like
you can have people, like, there are things that people can do that aren't tactical that are still necessary in order to know what is going on in the world around you. Man.
you touched on something. I'm gonna steal the camera
Take
back.
it, bro. Take it.
So you touched on something. There's things that you can do in the world that aren't tactical, and that's exactly right. Don't think tactically.
I can
Think
sneak in anywhere.
strategically.
No.
Tactics
True.
are what amateurs argue. What's the best way to hold an AR? Do you do the C clamp? Do you do the traditional grip? Do you punch out like this? Or do you swing up like... Who cares? Can you hit the target? That's all I care about. We're going to stand on the range and everybody whip their penises out. We're going to stand here and measure them. Oh, well, mine's a 1/4 inch longer than yours is. I guess I'm cooler than you. Shut the fuck up. Like, who cares?
I got
Mine
camo.
has-
Rules.
Mine has a suppressor on
I
it.
got black and white
Amateurs-
camo.
Else is new.
Amateurs argue tactics. You need to think strategically. How can we use the people that we have to the best of our ability? Think of all the things that anybody could be doing for you. And if you find yourself in a leadership position, you need to look at the people that the Father has blessed you with and A, have conversations with them, and then B, ascertain based upon what their giftings, talents, and delights and weaknesses are, combined with their interest, what's the best place to put this person into the matrix of the things that we do as our SHTF and the world team or whatever. But you guys get so deep into the weeds of like, well, I like Streamlights better than Surefires. I don't care. When you hit the tape switch, does the light come on? Okay, cool. Who gives a flying flip? Well, what do you think about chrome line barrel? What about, should I have a nitrided bolt versus I don't care. And you shouldn't care either. Because all that stuff, by the way, is designed to keep you in a cycle of fear and buying shit. Yeah, well, it came with a nitrided bolt, but that wasn't good enough, so now I got a nickel boron bolt. Well, what are you going to do with the nitrided bolt that you have? Well, I got this bolt carrier group laying around. Well, and I also took the standard charging handle out, and I got an upgraded charging handle. Well, now I got a BCG and a charging handle. Well, did you see that there's strip lowers on sale? You can get 3 of them for $159. Well, I got 3 strip lowers. Okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm just gonna get an LPK lower parts kit. That's $150. Now you're building another rifle built on the bolt that you didn't need out of the gun. You didn't need to replace out of the gun that you bought in the first place, but that you replaced it because the nitrided bolt carrier group wasn't good enough. So you got a nickel boron bolt. Next time, now all of a sudden you got another rifle. Why did you build this thing in the first place? Because you got into this cycle of, well, it wasn't tactically good enough. F tactics. Your tactics don't matter if your strategy sucks.
Backup parts box.
Backup parts dump truck. Okay? But your tactics don't matter if your strategy sucks. If all you're doing is working with tactics, the people that are thinking longer than the next move are going to eat your lunch. You're just stacking loot for them. That's all you're doing.
You're walking loot crate.
It doesn't matter how good you are, how fast you can shoulder a rifle. Because if you can shoulder a rifle really fast, and there's 3 of you. Oh, my team. Okay, there's 3 of us. We shoulder rifles really fast. Cool, and I show up with 50 guys. Doesn't matter how good the 3 of you are.
Or that one guy 800 yards away
yeah.
on a mountaintop.
Or the one dude 800 yards away. Or I'm like, hey, there's
away.
3 badasses in there. They've got lots of ammo. You know what they don't have? Food. Give it 72 hours.
I met so many tactical. Sorry, another camera's coming. I've met so many tactical, totally fit, amazing looking people who have 0 work ethic and are clocked out and don't want to work and are like sitting there doing whatever. And then I'd rather have a disabled person with a bad hip and high blood pressure who is willing to just kill it all day long.
No, you can have the coolest guns, but if you can't hit a target 10 out of 10 times, your cool gun is not going to do anything good for you.
Walking loot crate with legendary items.
Exactly. Thanks for the Daniel defense, dude. Appreciate it. So let's bring this back around. Back to like, I'm disabled, I'm into prepping, what can I do to prep? You know what you need way better than I do. Bear, how do I store all my insulin? I don't know. You need to keep it cool. You need to figure out how to keep it cool. A small solar panel and a little tiny fridge full of insulin. Well, what happens after that when I run out? I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know. I don't have diabetes. I don't know. But it sounds like that's a you problem that you got to figure out. Because I've got my own challenges. I've got my own things that I'm concerned about. You know what I do? I figure out how to fix that, and then I do everything that I can to mitigate that potential liability down the road. It's as simple as that. So you know what you need. You just need to be able to perpetuate your own normalcy. So, insulin would be great in a spring house. No electrons needed at all. Well, there you go, Sarah. As long as you've got it to put in there, right? So
that goes back to, why are you on the insulin? Why are you on the insulin? What can you be doing now?
Yep.
If you're type 2 instead of type 1 to get yourself healthier, so you're not on it.
What?
If that's what you're worried about, if that's what you're stressed about, you're convicted on that, what can you do to make it
Yeah,
better?
let's diet and exercise is the short answer to that.
Right.
Yeah, and so instead of like, how do I store a year's worth of insulin? It's like, how about you get on a PT program for a year? I can't believe he said that. Yeah, I know some people, some people have to have it. I totally understand that. Some people are diabetic because of the way they live their life. So,
And if you have to have it, you can work on having it once every other day, or having it once every 3 or 4 days.
Problem solved,
Depends,
man.
yeah.
I want to touch on one thing though, and meeting reality with expectation. There's always something that you can be doing to make yourself better and to get yourself better. The only person that's giving you an excuse is you. Right? But going back to the whole disabled thing and reality with expectations, there are some people out there where if the worst happens, the worst is going to happen for that individual. And I'm going to use my dad as an example. He had a heart attack with a 100% blockage. That, praise Yah, he survived the 45-minute drive that the ambulance turned into 20 minutes to get to the hospital for a heart attack that he shouldn't have survived. And then he had a stroke 2 weeks later. And he is very aware that if certain situations happen, he's probably not going to make it. And he's coming to peace with that. And I hate it. I absolutely hate that reality. But there's always something that you can do to be better. And one thing that my dad figured out was, my stroke doesn't let me eat a lot anymore. So what can I do to supplement my diet so that my heart gets the protein that it needs, or my body gets the protein that it needs so that it can repair my heart? And I mentioned to him, you should start making protein shakes twice a day. And he has, and he's improved a lot.
There you go.
9 months ago, my dad thought he was on, like, he had days left.
Right.
Now he's starting to feel better, but he still has to have that reality and expectation. And it sucks. It sucks for some people, and it's a cruel reality of the world that some people just get the short end of the stick.
Well, it illustrates a good point, though. So, my dad passed about a year ago, and my dad, before he passed, was getting into preparedness. And so we had some conversations around that, and he started stacking some stuff and doing all this. But he passed. And he never had to use any of his preps. Praise Yah. And this was something we were talking about last Shabbat. Preparedness is insurance. Okay? Preparedness is insurance. What we're doing is we're, skill set, tool set, heart set, right? So that we can perpetuate normalcy for the people that we love, right? Just like, and I know many people are like, the collapse is imminent, World War III is on our doorstep. Maybe not. I don't know. And you don't know. And nobody actually knows. We're just all making the best educated guesses that we can make, right? And do I think we're circling the drain? Absolutely. We talk about that every day on this channel. What if we're not? Or what if it's a slow, steady decline? And see, here's the thing. The world doesn't end. The prevailing system in the world ends. People keep going. We're still here, MFer. People keep going. The systems change. The power players change. But people keep going. And so what you need to do is figure out, how do I manage this transitory period, this transition from where we are to where we're going to be? What is that going to look like? And how do I perpetuate normalcy for the people that I love through that? And even then, that should not be your all day, every day, every waking moment spent on preparedness. Did you see what the Ukrainians did? Yep, I did.
Tractors and tanks.
So here's the deal. 10%, maybe 10% of your bandwidth should be spent on that. The other 90%, you have a biblical obligation to the covering over your home, your wife, your children, right? You are commanded to leave an inheritance to your children, to your wife, because statistically men die before women. So when I go, she's not property of the government. There should be a war chest there that she continues to live her life with. That's my responsibility. Putting that covering over my wife and my children, that's my responsibility. Creating a legacy, living a life worth living, spending time with my friends on my porch, not because the world's ending and we all had to come together and start living communally. Oops, we already do that. And eating meals together. Oops, we already do that. And doing life together. Oops, we already do that. And pulling security together. Oops, we already do that. Oh, collapse now and avoid the rush, right? We talked about that in a previous video. We're already doing all these things anyway, so we're shortening the learning curve there. But we already do life together. Not because the world's ending, because we legitimately enjoy each other's company and we have a high quality of life by living this way. And so, if every waking moment of your day is spent worried about the end of the world as we know it, you're wrong in that the world doesn't end. The prevailing system in the world ends. So you need to be looking at that, right? Look at that. How do I manage that transition from this system to that system, right? And listen, I love the United States of America. I love capitalism. I'm a laissez-faire kind of guy. And I can mourn the loss of a great country and a good system while also with both eyes open going, this shit ain't gonna last. It's unsustainable. It's not gonna last. And I can prepare for that system collapsing, but people will still be here. And it's our job to make sure our people are still here. I don't know about anybody else. I'm not responsible for anybody else, but my people will be here. That's my job. And if the world never ends, I want my daughter to be able to get a car and go out into the sunset and make mistakes and come home and cry and like figure all that shit out, right? Go be an adult. I want my son to be able to go be an adult. I want my little one, I don't want him to grow up. I don't want any of them to grow up, but that's a natural thing, right?
That's the worst.
You want them to just stay little all the time, and then like they learn to wipe their own ass and feed themselves. And it's like, actually, this is the perfect stage right here. This is perfect, right?
They start talking back.
Yeah, I mean, my 5-year-old made me a bouquet of pens.
Oh,
Me and
so
Liberty were
cute.
talking about this earlier. She made me a bouquet of pens. Was like, this is for you, Dad. And I was like, that's cool. And then we were talking about it, and she's like, yeah, that's because she knows you always have a pen on you. You always have a
She
pen.
wanted us to have everything we needed to do our work.
Exactly. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. Super thoughtful. And you don't realize how much they're paying attention. And if you're putting out that constant vibe of fear and anxiety and tension, your kids see that too. And you're raising them up into a life that's not worth living. The whole point of doing this is to live a life worth living and then perpetuate that if/when shit gets stupid. But we're not supposed to be afraid of anything, by the way, other than our Creator. You fear nothing but Yahweh your Elohim. That's it. Everything else is just a distraction of the enemy. Doesn't mean it's not an indicator. Oh shit, there's a nuclear plant on fire in Ukraine? That's probably a big deal. We should definitely be aware of that. Am I gonna lose my ever-loving? Did I pause my live stream to look up that intel right now? And I gotta be 100% up to date on what's going on in Ukraine because my ego needs me to look like I'm competent in front of my audience that depends on me for intel? Not even a little bit. I will deal with that shit later.
We'll find out.
Tomorrow. I don't know. Because I'm unafraid. I'm unafraid. And if there are nuclear weapons falling from the sky right now, and I mean this with my whole heart, praise Yah. I'm surrounded by people that I love. I did meaningful work today. I spent quality time with my family. I'm blessed. If this is the last moment that Bear exists, I'm blessed. And so, my dad passed without ever using his preps. What type of legacy did he leave? That's what you need to be thinking about. Should you be prepped? Absolutely. But it's so much more than that. What type of legacy did you leave? What type of man or woman are you? What will people say about you when you're gone? How will your children remember you? How did you advance your family? Right? Because it's one of the reasons the United States is so prosperous is because so many people for so many generations have busted their ass for so long to get to this point. We're at the point now where people get to bitch about their 87th gender. We get complain about the dumbest things because so many people have poured into this, right? We're standing on the shoulders of giants, and it's like, your people should be better off because you existed, not worse off. And I'll be on a channel built around preparedness. That's way more important than how much food should I put in buckets, how much water do I need, what kind of AR do I need. It's way more important than that, because praise Yah, you will very likely die without ever having to touch your preps. And if your life was shit because you didn't build a good one, what are you trying to perpetuate anyway? We don't perpetuate misery. No, you build a life worth living first, and then you perpetuate that. And if you're paying attention around here, that's part of what we're trying to teach you. And we don't have it all figured out, but we're blessed that we've made it this far down the path, that we get to experience just myriad blessings from doing things the way we do them. What else we got? Other than severe postnasal drip, we definitely got that.
Definitely.
There's one thing about
perpetuating normalcy. What is normal going to look like? And can you make that normal now so that there's no big change later? And one thing that I would like to really hit on, the modern day perceived standard of what your life should look like here in America with where we are heading right now is not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not sustainable, then you need to change. You need to make those changes. You need to pivot your life into a new normal so that you can maintain that normalcy. No, not a lot of people can maintain 6 cars and a 3,000 square foot house that has all the smart technology in it and all this other fancy stuff, living off the power grid and everything else. What's going to happen in 5 years when 50% of American cars need to be electric? It's going to overwhelm the power grid if people don't figure out another system. I like the idea of diesel electric hybrids, but that's just me. But can you even maintain normalcy with your life where it is right now? The standard of American living right now is declining. It is.
So an interesting comment on that. Otto von Bismarck came up with the concept of the retirement. The Austro-Hungarian state came up with the concept of retirement age. And he set it at age 65 because at the time, that was the average life expectancy, 65. And so if you live past 65, sure, we'll take care of you. But statistically, there's going to be very few people. Well, we still have this concept of, well, I'm going to retire. And many people are like, I'm going to retire at 50. I'm going to retire early retirement at 55, right? Well, Social Security is supposed to be 65, but if you want to reduce rate, it'll kick in at 62, right? But then people are living to 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. And so we have this, it is in effect a welfare state. And people say, because your welfare is dependent upon other people working at this point. And people say, well, I paid into that system my whole life. Okay, well, me too. I guarantee you that system is broke by the time I'm ready to draw from it. I'm not, like, everything I do independent of the government. I don't know, remember, independent? I do independent of the government. My own retirement savings, my own revenue streams, my own food, my own security, my own. It's all mine, right? But it's ours. But this concept of like retirement age and the expectation of, well, I'm retired now. I'm an old man now. I'm an old woman. Like, you telling me there's not a damn thing you can do at 65? Nothing? Like, that's it? You're just done? You're going to sell off into the sunset or whatever. And if that's you, so be it. But we have this American concept of like, at 65, I don't need to be as productive anymore. I disagree. I think you still need to be productive. You just probably need to be productive differently because physicality goes downhill, right? And so you're shifting into a different phase of life where now you need to be the tutor, the teacher, the elder. You need to impart knowledge on knowledge and wisdom onto the younger generation and pass that along. But part of that again gets back to you got to live a life worth living. What do you have to give to the younger generation that they're going to be better for knowing you? You know, what life lessons have you learned? What stories have you collected? What insights on faith in the Creator do you have? So forth and so on. And so a lot of that comes back to living a fully engaged life as well. So what's that super chat right there?
Donnie O'Keefe asked, is there anything you wish you could do with your dad that you never did?
Be fully reconciled. I talk a lot about that on, well, I don't talk a lot about it at all, but to the extent that I do talk about it, I've been talking about that on Patreon a little bit. Be fully reconciled. And I don't want to say any more than that because I don't need to be feeling those feels right now. But yeah, it would be, you don't get to pick and choose, right? And again, the Father doesn't make mistakes. And so I needed to learn the lessons that I learned from that relationship so that I would be the man that I am today, so that those mistakes wouldn't be repeated in my own home. And so that I would be able to counsel with other people on those things, and then I would have a relatable testimony for some of the brothers and sisters that I have. You know, but if idealistically, if I could have one thing, yeah, it would be like the perfect relationship with my dad. That wasn't an option, and that's okay, because it being imperfect was the catalyst for so many really excellent things in hindsight in my life. So, you know, and I'm eminently practical. You ask anybody that knows me. I don't care what should have been. I care what is. What is. So much so that I'm oftentimes like, you know, accused of not having emotions. I have them. They just don't, generally speaking, factor into my decision making unless it's anger, in which case my staff is like, whoa there, big guy. Let's take a deep breath.
What was David's comment? Like, I have feelings, but I don't like them, or something? He said it to you one time.
Yeah. Oh, it was a brilliant comment. It was something to the effect of like, I have feelings, I just don't use them.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and people miss that too. Feelings are a biomechanical feedback mechanism. People get stuck on their feelings without understanding that that's your body biomechanically trying to tell you that you value this thing, whatever it may be. Just like stress. Stress is a biomechanical feedback mechanism. The things that you stress about are the things that are important to you, whether you've admitted that to yourself or not. And so feelings and stress and all that is just your body trying to give your brain and your consciousness feedback on this situation. And so I use it as that. I feel these feelings and I'm like, yep, copy that. That was important to me. It's important to me that I would have liked to have had a better relationship with my dad. That makes me feel feelings of guilt and anguish and sadness and unfulfillment and shame and all these things. So they're negative feelings that are tied to that. So I take that biomechanical feedback and I go, okay, I have negative emotion tied with this. What can I learn from this so that I don't repeat this mistake for my son, for my daughters, so that they have a better relationship with me. So again, getting back to legacy, when they think about me, they don't have negative emotional responses. They have positive emotional responses. So, and that's what the Bible calls breaking generational curses. Because it literally, it says Yah will visit the iniquities on the third and fourth generation. Your lawlessness, to the extent that you allow lawlessness and sin and corruption and just horseshit to exist in your life, that spills onto your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids, because it becomes patterns of behavior. And you have to break those patterns of behavior, the bad ones, and you have to establish and reinforce good patterns of behavior. Just like if you ever went to Sunday dinner at grandma's house, like you knew, you're supposed to be dressed up. You're supposed to mind your manners. I don't really know why we have 3 forks on the table, but this little one's probably for salad. right? And it was always kind of like a thing. There was going to be a big meal, and we were going to be well behaved, and we were going to say grace before dinner. And even if you didn't act that way all the time, Grandma, when you had dinner at Grandma's house, she would imprint that pattern of behavior on you, and that becomes perpetuated. And so now all of a sudden, without even knowing, Grandma's teaching you etiquette. That when you go sit down at a table at a business dinner or something like that, no elbows on the table. Copy that. No elbows on the table. Oh, I know what that little fork is for. That's for my salad. I don't look like an asshole now, right? And so you reinforce the good patterns of behavior. You break the cycle of the bad patterns of behavior.
Somebody asked Tact Dad 84 Rabbit Trail, but was curious if y'all do Purim.
Purim?
Me and a brother talked about that last year. It's like eat sheep and shoot guns.
And drink wine. I think drinking wine is part of it as well. Not really. No, we don't do Purim.
I have a sweater on.
I'm not opposed to people that do Purim, but or that do observe Purim, but you need a jacket, brother?
I was trying to get my jacket back.
He's got a whoopee now, man. He's good to go.
Yeah, you got it.
He was trying to hand me my sweater.
You really do.
And
That's your color, though.
he was trying to hand me my sweater, and I'm like, I'm already wearing one.
So, Renee's wearing your hoodie, so
Yeah.
you're wearing her sweater.
He wanted to give me a sweater, but I already have a sweater on under.
Fo, you
his
look
jacket.
fabulous.
You really look good. I feel like this is like a Mrs. Doubtfire moment.
Wait, freeze!
The luxurious.
You could totally wear that in
body
public and get
six-pack.
away with it.
Thank you, the luxurious bastard.
I got
Hey,
tissues in the pocket.
that's the guy that's sending me the
Yes,
beard
there's
stuff.
There are grandma tissues in his pocket and everything.
Thank you, luxurious bastard.
I'm wary of
Somebody asked a good
traditions.
question, and I answered it in the chat. I want to see if you have the same answer. Somebody said, "Is it a good time to start a business?" And I said, "Yes, as long as you're not taking on any debt."
I would agree with that. So, is it a good time to start a business? Yes, as long as you're not taking on any debt, said Renee. Debt is bad all the way around. The rich rule over the poor, and a debtor is a slave to their debt. Proverbs 22:7. Somebody called me. I said it was 22:6 in my last video. And they're like, no, it's not. That says raise your children up in the way that they should go, and they will not depart from it when they are older. I'm like, I'm sorry. Out of 1,200 pages of the Bible, I was one verse off. I apologize. But rebuke received. I remember it now. It's Proverbs 22:7. Copy. So I think more so the conversation should be around, do you have the chops to start a business, and what are your expectations?
Right. Are you ready to go?
Because people have the concept of, again, it's tactics versus strategy. If you're looking at a week or a month or 90 days, a 90-day sprint, and you're going to get your business up and running, you might get it up and running. But if you expect to be like operating in the black, paying all your bills, and banking like crazy in the first 90 days, bro, you are delusional. Just delusional. And I'm not talking about some of these like, multi-level marketing things, or like selling hand cream or essential oils or whatever. I'm talking about like whether it's brick and mortar, online retail, consulting. It takes time to build a reputation. It takes time to get cash flow, and you gotta, or contracting, whatever,
And work.
and you gotta understand like basic math. The way businesses work. Let's say somebody paid you $100. Okay. Let's say you're a contractor.
Yeah.
All right.
They fixed it.
You're a contractor, and you tender a bid for $100 to fix a board on this deck. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. And you're like, yeah, well, sweet. I need $40 in materials, $100. I made $60 on the deal. Okay. It's going to take me 15 minutes to replace that board. I pull up the old board, some T25 Torx bits in my drill, zip this board out, measure, cut the other one to length, zip it back in, some 1 3/4 deck screws, blah, 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 good to go. Made $60, easy peasy. And scale it up, scale it down, whatever, doesn't matter. Just use these round numbers. Okay. How much do screws cost? Well, I can go get a 1 pound box for $12. I can get a 5 pound box for $60, or I can get a 25 pound box for $120. Probably should get a 25 pound box for $120, but you got to have the $120 to get the 25 pound box, right? So there's that's called economy of scale. So there's economy of scale on all your materials. What drill are you going to use? You got to buy the drill. What about the batteries? What about the T25 torch bits? What about the bit kits, the Foster bits, the standard drill bits, the whole nine, the tool belt that you're going to hang it on, your carpenter's pencils, your speed square, your tape measure. It's $1,000 easy just to get into like basic handyman tools, right? So where's all that going to come from? What about your insurance? What about your marketing? What about the fuel in your truck? What about the insurance on your truck? What about the wear and tear on your vehicle? See, all these are unseen costs. And so to your mind, you profited $60, but you didn't profit $60, did you? Because you have all of these unquantified, unseen costs. And so what a lot of people do is they'll start a business like that. Oh, I'm going to do a small deck on the back of your house, Bear. I'm going to charge you $1,000. It's $400 in materials. I made $600. You didn't make $600. You need to pay you as an employee. You need to pay you as an employee, and the business needs to generate enough revenue to cover all of its costs, plus pay you, plus have money left in the bank. That the difference between what your materials cost and your bid is not your profit. That's not profit. That's gross profit, not net profit. And so you're missing what's called S&A, salary and administrative costs. All those unforeseen costs that are in there that eat your damn lunch. And you're like, I don't know why I didn't make any money. There's supposed to be $600 in there. Yeah, but we filled the fuel tank. Thanks, Biden. That cost $85. We're down to $515, and I needed some torch bits. That's $500. And I had to make an insurance payment. That's $200. Now we're down to $300. And I bought lunch for me and my helper. That was $30. Now we're at $270, and I got a crack in my windshield, and that cost $150 to replace. That's $120. And my wife was like, "Hey, could you pick up dinner on the way home?" So I got a couple pizzas, and that was $40. And I got a 6-pack, and that was $10. And now I got $70 left over, and I haven't paid myself, air quote, yet. So, if you don't have the chops and the discipline to run a business, and a lot of people mistake money machine with business. The truck gets a wage too. That's absolutely right. Replacement cost on your vehicle. And ideally, you're paying yourself enough that you can hire somebody to replace you so that you can scale the business and then still get paid to operate the business. And this is where debt gets dangerous, is because now that, say of that $600 out of that $1,000 that you had left over, part of that is servicing the debt load. You got a $200 debt payment, okay? So you only have $400 left over, or you got to make your bid $1,200 instead of $1,000, which now means you're pricing yourself out of the market because Jimbo said he could do it for $1,000, and Todd said it was $1,200. And they both have good reputations. They both do good work. Well, I'm gonna save $200 and I'll go with Jimbo because you're servicing a debt load and Jimbo isn't. So that's called bootstrapping. So you start little and you grow and you build momentum. And the thing with starting little and moving slow is you make little, not costly mistakes that you can learn from when you're first getting started. You learn those lessons on the $100 job or the $1,000 job, not on the $100,000 job or the $3 million job, okay? So you start little, you bootstrap, and you run the business like a business. You don't run it like a piggy bank that you get to turn upside down every time you want something, and you apply discipline to that. And if you can get those moves down, then yeah, maybe starting a business is for you. And then the other thing you got to understand is what's your what differentiates you in the market, right? Like everybody knows, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you know about Refuge Medical. Handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. You save a life, we replace the contents at no cost to you. Exceeds military specification. 33 lives saved, right? These are our market differentiators versus everybody else that makes first aid kits. We only use North American Rescue and other top-notch components, right? That's what sets us apart in the market. I'm not trying to make a cheap first aid kit. I'm trying to make the best first aid kit. I'm not trying to go head to head with whoever, pick a company, My Medic, although I call them out all the time because their stuff is horse shit. I'm not trying to steal their customers. I'm just trying to make sure that my customers know that it's better to buy from me than it is to buy from anybody else. And so, what are your market differentiators? What problem are you solving? Right? Because really what a businessman does or a businesswoman does is solve problems for a price. That's what you're doing. You're solving somebody else's problem. The problem that I solve for you is, where can I get a good first aid kit that'll actually save somebody's life? And if I don't know what goes in it, I've already put that together for you. That's been handled by medical experts. It's been pressure tested all around the globe by people who wear body armor for a living. We know they work, right? That problem is solved for you. You don't have to figure that shit out. Carpenter, I need a deck. Now, I know how to build a deck. I built the deck that I'm sitting on. Had a little bit of help from some brothers, but we know how to build a deck, right? So, but the carpenter analogy again. The carpenter, the problem that they're solving is they know how to build a deck and you don't. That's the problem they're solving. And so whether it's goods or services, you're a problem solver as a business person. And you have to understand your market differentiators. And then you get into what's called the value proposition. Why should I go with you versus somebody else? And that could be all types of things. That could be, I'm a man of faith, and I believe in honesty and integrity. And we guarantee our stuff forever. And it's the same price as buying cheap Chinese garbage for American-made top-notch goods. What's the value proposition? Why should I spend my money with you? And then lastly, I love the fact that we just like got straight into like business consult when earlier today I was like, I'm never doing business consults again. And yet here we are with 700 of our friends doing a business consult. The last thing you got to understand.
You never get paid to do.
Yeah, I'm only giving them away to people that I love anymore. I'm not taking consulting clients right now. But the last thing you got to understand is there's three different things, right? You've got price, cost, and value. We had to do a little TikTok earlier today because people don't understand how this works, okay? Cost is what it costs to do the job. Let's say, here, I just happen to have some lime juice right here, okay? My wife happens to have some lime juice right here. Let's say this costs $1 to put together, right? This whole thing cost the company $1. That's the cost, is $1. It costs $1 to make this. The price is $2. If you want to buy it from the company that made this little green thing and filled it full of lime juice and put it on a tanker ship or a cargo truck or whatever and got it to your grocery store, and now you want to transact and buy this, it costs $2, okay? So the cost is $1 to make it. The price is $2 if you want to buy it. The value is not set. Listen to me. The value is not set by the person that produced this. The value is set by the person that buys it. And if the value, the perceived value of this meets or exceeds the price of $2, then people will transact and buy it. If you think this is worth at least $2, maybe even more than $2, you will buy this. That's the perceived value. If you think, no, it's only worth $1.50 and they want $2 for it, I'm not buying it. The value is lower than the price and people don't buy. So value is on the customer side, not on the manufacturer or the business side.
It's how about you need it.
So that factors into value as well. That's supply chain.
Like you're
How
making
bad you need it.
margaritas. You probably need that to make a
And
margarita.
and so if you need this to make a margarita, that's going to increase your perceived value of this, right? And so if price, right, if value exceeds price, if I think this is worth more than you're charging for it, people will buy it, okay? If value does not exceed price, you won't have sales. And so if you're not selling something, you need to ask yourself, is my price wrong Or is my value, my perceived value, wrong? Where am I going wrong here? And a lot of people get price driven. Competing on price, to a certain extent, you can't be so far outside the bounds of what the market will accept, right? I can't sell a Bearfac for $350 when my competitor sells one for $250. I would not transact, because no matter how good that first aid kit is, the perceived value is not $350. That's too far of an outlier. Okay, but if the perceived value, let's say, was, if you think, oh, this kit's it's worth $300 all day, I can't believe they're selling it for $250, you're gonna buy them up like that. Which is why I have a pallet of Bearfac pouches coming from one of our subcontractors right now.
I can't wait, dude.
Right?
For real.
I can't wait either. And so there's a little ditty on business. We don't know everything there is to know about business, but we do know a thing or two. And we actually do small business live stream Q&As on Patreon. So if you're on Patreon, look out for that. And if you're not, but you thought there was some value in what I just said, the price for Patreon is $5. You just got I think a high value conversation that exceeds the $5 that you pay for Patreon, in addition to the 2,000 plus exclusive pieces of content. Yes, Granny
I was
Foe.
going to ask you. You can answer this.
Oh,
There's 3 things you can. Granny Foe.
He said it.
All right, Papa Bear. There's 3 things that you can get from a product, but you can only get 2 of the 3. You have to sacrifice one of them. You want to talk about that?
Oh. Good, cheap, and fast? Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Good, cheap, and fast. You can't have all 3 of them. So if it's good, it's probably not cheap, and you're probably not going to get it quickly. If it's fast, it's probably not going to be very good, and you're probably going to have to pay more for it. And if it's cheap, it's
Cheap.
cheap. It's probably not very good. So good, cheap, and fast. There's all.
Yeah.
These are competing metrics. We go towards good, high quality. That's what we want. And
Hot and crazy thing. Similar.
yes, it's similar to the hot/crazy matrix.
Right, like, my medic gives you flimsy, like what probably costs like $1 medical shears.
Oh, there's shears I snapped in half.
Yeah, like you can literally just like pull them apart.
Well,
Like-
it's important to say you could snap them in half.
I snapped like,
Libby could snap them in
I
half.
snapped them in half, and like couldn't even cut paper
Mm-hmm.
with these shears before I snapped them in half. And their kits are way more expensive than ours are for like what you get
Mm-hmm.
in them.
There's a lot more markup in their
Right.
kits.
There's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of like small shit to make you think that you're getting like a really good value for your money, but it's all crap.
Mm-hmm.
That whistle that they put in that trauma kit's really gonna do me good when my lungs don't work.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
why?
And I've got a no-name
Yeah.
chest steel.
Yeah.
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 What were you gonna say, babe?
Outrageous, man.
Oh, I don't know. It
I
was
don't know
just,
either.
Like, but ours are like the 7 1/4 North American Rescue Shears. You can cut through anything
Oh yeah.
with those things, and they're like $10 shears.
That was the first thing that Wrangler Star talked about in his review.
Yeah.
He spent probably 5 minutes talking
Yeah.
about shears.
Like I think you should be able to tell everything you need to about our kits just by what shears we
Just
offer.
get one and handle it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
It's
Like,
kind of like when you go into a restaurant. The
uh-huh.
first thing you should do is go to the bathroom. If
Yeah.
the bathroom is clean, you know this restaurant is good.
Right.
Yeah.
If the bathroom is like messed up, they don't care about what they have.
Yep.
They don't care about what they're
You
serving
don't want to
you.
see the kitchen.
You
if
don't
the
want to see
bathroom's
the
dirty.
kitchen.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. You know what's also a good point? I'm gonna piss off the porch.
Nice.
So, but I'm not gonna do it on camera. So,
Toodaloo.
toodaloo. Here.
All right, y'all,
Talk-
ask me
talk
your
to the
questions.
people.
I'm here. I'm alone.
You're
Not
not allowed.
back porch bitching
But
time.
it at least take
Wait,
him
it's
10
only
steps
8:40. It's not
before
9
he
o'clock
can get
yet.
back over here and shut me up.
20
So
minutes, ladies.
Yeah. There's at least 3.5 seconds
Grandpa's
before.
blanket in the war.
how much are stomp bags? Go to the website. I don't know. Go to
What
refugemedical.com.
they're valued. We just packed 4 of them a day.
Use promo code Bear Nation.
Yeah, Bear Nation is your promo code.
What does that give you?
Free shipping.
It also gets you 5% off at Refuge Training, by the
It
way.
also gets you
He can't
5%
just
off
pee.
at Refuge Training. How's the freeze dryer working? It's actually not right now.
She broke it.
No, I did not break it. But no, my heater relay is stuck, and so I've got to take it into Harvest Right and hopefully gonna get a new relay board or just order some new relay parts
Did you say
and solder it myself. So we'll see
2,
what happens first
3,
because I need to
Praise
freeze
God.
dry some
And there's
stuff.
90.
You want to answer Tomahawk's question here?
Tomahawk. I don't know. Is he a tomahawk
How are the
ribeye?
sheep and lambs? How many do you have right now? So we just today went
Because it's
from
one.
27 down to 14,
15?
15.
15.
Except for pregnant, so that tomorrow there could be 6.
Yeah, I mean,
Back it
yeah,
up.
I've still got.
Hold
I've
on.
still,
Reposition. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Yank.
I've still got one more pregnant
No,
ewe.
not trying to play pussy with you.
She's a first time ewe.
At least not on camera.
It's a presidential boot. It's okay.
That's a nice boot.
So, but yeah, we downsized because I still have babies out there, and we're gonna have more babies soon.
So, Tomahawk asked, how can you afford to replace the components in your first aid kits when somebody saves a life with them? I can't. It's bad. It's like,
It's bad business.
on paper, it's bad business. We make very little on these kits, by the way.
Yeah.
In fact, the only reason we're able to bring these kits to you at the price that we do is because of what we talked about earlier, economy of scale. There's very little headroom when you buy good components from North American Rescue, from TACMed, from Medline. There's very little headroom in the pricing there. It's not like, oh, at the store it's $30 for a tourniquet, but I got it for $6. Negative. It could cost a freaking arm and a leg. And so we have to
have
be
sports cars.
yeah, we're not on my yacht. We're on my porch that I built with my own 2 hands, okay? And so there's very little markup there. And so on paper, it's bad business for me to give away free medical supplies to people. But the thing that you have to understand is, what is the ethos of the company? What's the mission statement? To save lives while in service to the Father's kingdom and experiencing the abundance of his provision and blessing. And we save lives. We've saved 33 lives to date that we know of. And we are in service to the Father's kingdom. And we are right now experiencing the abundance of his provision and blessing. And abundance doesn't mean Lamborghinis and your 5th vacation home and the helicopter.
So you pull stuff off the floor.
What's that?
It means I get more shelves. We can
It
pull
means
stuff off
that
the floor.
Renee finally got to order more shelves so we could get boxes up off the floor. Right?
I got to fix my well house.
You got to fix your well house. It means that there's sheep in my front yard, right? Like, that's what abundance means to us. And like, our life is full. We live abundantly. And I want to encourage people to use their kits. Go render aid. We've got 2 emails that have come in just since yesterday. And they're not lives saved, but they're excellent stories of aid that has been rendered. And so we're in contact with those 2 people, just asking, can we share your story? And I'm not going to share them here, but they're awesome. They're awesome stories of people, everyday normal people. One dude had a Cub kit in his lunchbox and witnessed a motor vehicle accident involving a child. Get to cradle this child with a grievous head injury in his arms while holding Z-fold combat gauze on the kid's head to keep him from bleeding out. Like, you're telling me I'm worried about the $43 that Z-fold cost to replace that? That is some effed up horse shit if that's how you run your business.
Why would you not reward these
What?
heroes
Exactly.
that step up and do the things? And
Yeah.
Yeah, because most people just watch.
yeah, a lot of people just drive by or
Yeah.
people just watching. But the guy that steps up and does the things and is there to help,
That's
why
what-
would you not reward them?
That's why our training classes are called Responder 1, Responder 2, Responder 3, Essential Responder. Because we want people to go from innocent bystanders to responders. The whole concept of you are the first responder. You're the one who's there. Go do something. Do something about it. Contribute to the success of this situation. Don't be dead weight. And so it's not on paper good business for me to give away free medical equipment. And so after all that we just talked about with business, right? Price and value and cost and all of that needs to dovetail into what is your ethos as a company? What is your mission statement? And if you don't know, the mission statement is that guiding light that points you and all of your staff in the right direction every day, from the moment you come to work to the moment you leave. What are we here to do? This is what we're here to do. And if you don't know what the mission statement is, 100% chance you ain't going to do it. Right, so you have to identify that, and how you fulfill that mission statement becomes the ethos of your company, and that's something that's like hard to quantify. It's not tangible. It's like the soul of the business. It's how you do things. You do things the right way.
We have a big sign right over the
Yeah,
door.
we've got
that
a
goes
banner.
to outgoing.
Yeah, we got a banner. That's right. Every box that gets shipped passes underneath that banner when it goes to Misty to save lives in service to the Father's kingdom and experience the abundance of His provision.
It's a
and
great
blessing.
place to put the banner.
It's a great place to put the banner. That's awesome. I don't know if that was like done on purpose or not, but good job, team.
Well, a lot of people are asking, like, how do we verify it?
It was
I was
y'all's
like, we
plan.
ask for the story and then we trust.
So we get an after action report.
Yeah.
People write into us, and then from talking with these people after they write into us, if it's like, I used my compressed gauze and some duct tape and these are the injuries that they had, that's non-life threatening. Like, you rendered aid, that's awesome. And then it's like, yeah, this guy got blown up and we used the tourniquet, the Z-fold, the compressed gauze, the trauma bandage, all of the duct tape, both chest seals, the decompression needle, and the Curlix. Is like, life saved, bro. Like, if you emptied a bear fac, life saved. And then in many cases, there's testimony from the emergency responders where they showed up and they tell the people who rendered aid, this person wouldn't be alive if you didn't do this. We've had several rural incidents where it took EMS an hour to get there, and these people had critical bleeds where they would have been dead within minutes, but they got a tourniquet on. And so that's just basic math, right? And so it's, we don't count stuff that's questionable. If it's on the line of, life saved versus rendered, we don't count that.
Somebody fell and stabbed themselves in the butt cheek.
Yeah.
Great story.
Great story.
Great story.
I missed this
There
story.
were pictures, but that's not a life saved. It's aid rendered. He was able to stop his bleeding butt, but
I got stabbed in the buttocks.
Something jumped up and bit.
we love you, Gary.
Yeah. But to that point, it's like, that's not a life save.
Right. We don't count that.
It's aid rendered.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that our kit was used to, and that dozens of times, we've gotten dozens, it's got to be probably 100 reports at this time of aid rendered with the kit. And that's awesome. And when we get those reports too, we reach back out to those people. It's like, man, what did you use? Oh, I used some Quick Clot, I used some of this and that. Okay, cool. And I just sent in the email. I got that email earlier today. I forwarded that email to Fo, and I was like, send this guy some stuff, throw some swag in there, take care of him, right? And that's not, short-term, numbers-driven, business-wise. It's not good business. Long-term ethos of the company and branding. If you were going to call it anything, you'd call it branding. The branding of the company, it's excellent because what it does is it builds a good reputation. But then you have to live up to that reputation. That's your reputation. And if you fail to live up to your own reputation, nobody else is going to believe you. And guess what? Your sales are going to freaking tank. So, what else we got?
Constitutional QRF said, I'm a rural EMS and I can verify the best time you can expect from us is 12 minutes if you are close, up to 35 if you are out in the woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Femoral bleed,
You're
90 seconds to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Uncontrolled femoral bleed.
If they
So-
can find you, and if you have
Yeah,
cell reception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of these instances have been where somebody comes across a car wreck and they're like, and just pro tip, if you got a first aid kit in your vehicle and you're going to dismount the vehicle and go to the incident, grab your first aid kit when you go.
Right.
Because
don't run back
we've
to
gotten
the car.
so many reports from people who are like, I ran down there, I looked, I was like, oh shit, I ran back to the car, grabbed the kit, then I ran back to the accident. Just when you dismount, grab the kit and go.
Seconds
Assume
If you
you
don't,
need it.
if you don't need it, cool. You put it back in the truck when you're done. But if you do, making 3 trips back and forth, you're burning daylight with that. So, if you roll up on an accident and you decide I'm going to dismount and go, grab the first aid kit and go with you. If you don't need it, cool.
Right.
But that's fine. You put it back. If you do need it, you got it right there in your hand. So
Make sure you don't put other people in harm's way with the position of your vehicle as well as yourself.
that's another good point.
Let's make smart decisions here.
What else we got?
Let's see.
You want my question?
Sure.
Your question? What do you got, Granny Fowl?
How strong of a taser do you need to take a bear down?
Ain't found one yet.
Because I'm thinking if you're out hunting, you should have a taser. Because if a bear is like coming at you and chasing you, you taser that bear and it drops.
Where did you
If
Because
I'm
you can
out-
shoot a bear and it keeps coming at you.
Shoot it in the right
You want to
spot.
have enough, like pull a
Is this-
taser out and
I don't know.
taser it.
Is this a question you came up with?
Yes.
Something more, bigger than a
It's a
I want to
22.
design a taser big enough to take a bear down, so when you're out hunting, you don't get attacked by a bear.
I'm just gonna yell at the bear and pull out
Didn't
the
we
K-bar.
just say earlier it's illegal to fight a bear in the state of Oklahoma?
Just get a
It's
train
bear
set.
wrestling.
The train
Train
guns
guns
take a
are good.
minute. Train guns take a minute.
You can run.
Okay. I don't know how big of a taser it takes to take a bear down. My biggest concern would be getting through all the fur for the barbs to stick.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it would have to be like it would. They make what's it called? The X12. I think it's the Taser X12, and it's a 12 gauge shotgun round that shoots a taser charge. That'll probably do it.
Yes.
Yep.
That's great for 10 seconds. Then what?
Oh, when it goes down, then you start shooting the heck out of it.
Just shoot the heck
just
out of
open
it.
We remember the
Like,
remnant. He shot a grizzly bear with a 60 caliber ball.
then
Like, and
you
the
can
bear
run for
didn't
10
care.
seconds. I don't know. You ever tried to run after you've been tasered?
Dude, I've seen a guy that
doesn't
spear
work.
hunts, like up in a tree stand, maybe like 10 to 12 feet up in the air, and with a spear
Yeah,
through a bear,
that's brutal.
and like
You could
Instant
taser in the
dead.
forehead is what's
That's brutal. So, I don't know. 45 caliber and 7.62 are my recommendations for that. So,
aim for the head.
what else we got?
Bear
What are the
factor,
questions?
bear men,
Bear fact,
vehicles, and I was like, just wait.
bear fact or bear men?
Mm.
Uh,
I
bear
don't want to
fact.
say wait,
Whatever's
but
in
bear
stock.
fact.
Bear fact. The bare minimum is awesome.
or belt.
It's predominantly designed for combat related injuries. It doesn't mean it deals with massive bleeding, airway, and respiratory. So your circulation, head injury, hypothermia, the entirety of the March algorithm that the Bear Fac works is the Bear Fac is for that. The entirety of the March algorithm. The bare minimum is massive bleeding, airway, respiratory. So you're talking a tourniquet, pressure bandage, compressed gauze for wound packing, airway, chest seals, 5x9s, gauze pack, tape, a couple other odds and ends in there. And so predominantly you're talking it's a true IFAC size, individual first aid kit size, combat injury type situation. Also great for a like a chainsaw, a construction company, something like that. But that's what it's for. Plate carrier, war belt, rucksack. That's what it's for. It's the bare minimum you need to deal with combat injuries. The bare FAC, first aid kit, will work the entirety of that March algorithm, and we'll have things like rolled gauze and small gauze and a triangle bandage. And so when you're dealing with non-life-threatening injuries, you have some tools in your toolkit for that with the bare FAC. The bare minimum is not for, like, there's no accommodation for boo-boos or minor injuries in the bare minimum. It's like somebody got shot, stabbed, or blown up. That's what the bare minimum
that you need.
That's what the bare minimum is for. Shot, stabbed, blown up, we got you. Cut with a chainsaw, got you. Fell into a table saw, got you. You know, like, grievous injury is what it's for. I need some gauze for this boo-boo I got on my head from this car wreck. Bare minimum, don't got you on that. That's not what it's for. And so it's all business is the bare minimum, but it's like, it's a perfect size. It's a great price point, and it's all the other blah blah blahs, man. It's the same manufacturer as the bare FAC, so it's made in America, same great quality and all that. But it is substantially smaller, but it's got full size chest seals in it. It's, you know, get tourniquet, pressure bandage, all that. So
The survival blanket that's in the bare FAC, I came across a motor vehicle accident involving a
Should
motorcyclist.
time on a stomp.
So I came across a couple years ago, before I even knew that T was a human being, I came across a motor vehicle accident that was a head-on collision involving a motorcyclist. Now, he was wearing proper equipment, helmet, you know, gauntlets, boots, and everything else, but he was across the pavement, and it was nighttime, and the biggest thing that I could do, other than with the tools that I had, the Gen 7 cat tourniquet that I did have, I used as a expedient splint to splint his legs together, because he broke one of his legs, and laying sideways on a hillside on a road in the middle of nowhere wasn't very comfortable without his leg getting splinted. The one thing that helped lower his shock down was a survival blanket, which I would have used if I had a bare FAC. They didn't exist at the time. And I happened to have a whoopee blanket in the back of my truck, or my Jeep at the time. So that survival blanket being in the bare FAC is a very valuable thing to have. And you went into the whole deal when people start to lose blood and their core temperature starts to lower. The lower their core temperature drops, the longer it takes for their blood to clot.
Yep.
And a survival blanket is a very smart thing to have, and having that in that kit is a great addition and increased capabilities, and even just a survival scenario on the side of the road. And it's wintertime right now.
Yep.
It's probably a good thing to have.
So people, we talked briefly about this on Tuesday from the office, the Tuesday office live stream. And I'll just hit it again real quick, because most people don't understand. They think the survival blanket's a little cheap throwaway thing. It's not. It's much easier to keep the casualty warm than it is to try and heat them back up again. And as your body temperature cools, that can exacerbate shock. Certain types of shock. There's different types of shock. But the main issue with the cooling of the body is that what we're trying to do is form a clot, right? We want bleeding to stop. And so at 98.6 degrees average human body temperature, it takes 10 minutes of direct pressure to form a clot, okay? You go from 98.6 to 97.6, you go from 10 to 20 minutes. It doubles. You go from 97.6 to 96.6, it goes from 20 minutes to 40 minutes. It doubles again. You go to 95.6, it doubles again to 80 minutes to form a clot. And so that's incredibly important, that it's not a linear progression, it's an exponential progression of clotting time based upon body temperature. And so you want to keep the casualty warm, because we're trying to stop the bleeding, because the blood is an oxygen delivery device. And that's why with the March algorithm, we prioritize massive bleeding over airway and respiratory, because it doesn't matter how much oxygen we get into the body if the blood's squirting out of the body, because there's no way to get the oxygen to the organs, to the brain that need it, if all the blood's leaving the body. So we want to keep the blood inside the body, keep the body warm. then obviously maintain a patent airway and respiratory. What's up, TikTok? Apparently, I'm also now on TikTok as well. Good evening, TikTokers, Chinese spies, and children. It's good to see you.
Like YouTube
Dish
doesn't
from the
know.
real.
No, YouTube has Chinese spies, Russian spies, and adults.
See?
I think TikTok just has Chinese spies and children.
Going viral.
But our
Children
video hit
pretending to be adults.
400,000
400,000. Also,
That's
views.
amazing.
we should talk about this. Liberty inadvertently made my TikTok channel go viral. Good job.
400,000 views in less than 24 hours.
400,000
One
views
video.
in less than 24
Some
hours.
Refuge
That's incredible.
Medical.
Yep.
Refuge Medical.
And there's Bear Independent with you dancing
Ice-
on ice.
Beautiful. So,
I
if you're a TikTok-y person, apparently I'm on there as well. Go team.
Gotta
Good
spread
job,
the
everybody.
word.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna. What was I thinking? Homestead asked the question. With your freeze dryer, do you have the Premier pump or the oilless? Any regrets? So I do have the Premier pump. It is much quieter than the standard or the oilless. The maintenance is not that bad, especially with the Premier, because you literally change your oil like every 20 batches, and it's not that big of a pain to do. So I would suggest the Premier pump. And any regrets? My only regret is that I didn't buy one sooner. I sat on buying a freeze dryer for like
Ever.
3 or 4 years before I finally pulled the trigger. And that's the only thing that I regret, is that I didn't start freeze drying sooner.
Kosher Cajun said hi.
Kosher
Wow.
Cajun.
Our
Shalom,
buddy.
brother.
Shalom, bro.
That guy's awesome.
And I do
What's up,
have
bro?
an affiliate link. If you're planning on buying a freeze dryer, if you would be so kind to use.
If you want to buy a freeze dryer,
Yes.
if you're thinking about a harvest right, email admin at Bear Independent and we'll give you the affiliate link.
I think it's in all my links too.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Where's the All My
Look for a
Links,
used one if
Dudley?
you can find one.
120.
Dudley, where's the links?
That's a person.
That's some brothers dropping off a trailer.
Dancing Bear on TikTok. I know. He was ice skating.
Yep, I seen it.
Ice.
They wanna know what you're
It was
sipping on.
hilarious,
Who's
y'all.
that?
That was
It
well
was
done.
Absolutely
That was
hilarious.
well done.
Yeah.
So, all right, what other questions we got?
What you drinking?
Who is that?
Who's about to break?
I don't know.
The store's about to break?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Praise y'all. A flashlight in each of my jackets, candlelight, not a bad idea. I carry flashlights. I purchased mine before I knew about Hami.
I think so. I think it's good for anything that like you purchase through Harvest Right. Whether it be accessories or the freeze dryer itself.
Thanks.
Noted.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Who
Like
is that?
The guys are bringing the trash out.
it just helps us out a little bit, and I think it saves you guys like 10% or something like that. Like, which they always say they have a promo going on, but it's always just the same price. They're one of those companies.
So,
Big sale! Oh, that's the same price it was last week.
Donnie,
Sun Up and does that. You get like a daily email that's like,
we could
Yeah.
we can talk
they're
about
one of
this
those.
just a little bit. Am I allowed to talk about firearms on TikTok? I
You
just
just can't
can't-
show
Just can't
them.
handle them.
You can handle them as long as it's on a safe range,
Oh,
controlled
this is my range.
environment, right?
We're on my range.
You shoot from the
So-
porch.
So, Mama Bear said, Bear, where can I purchase the best bulletproof vest? That's a loaded question. I would go to adventurefrontier.com. You hear that, everybody? YouTube and TikTok, adventurefrontier.com, and get you some Spartan armor.
He's bringing
What's
Just
happening?
shifting.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
It's just so I can get the other tripod, and
Oh, okay.
it's not like in hold
she
me,
can-
and it's go.
Yeah.
Go. You're good.
So, that being said, the best armor, go to adventurefrontier.com. We love those guys. They love us back. They're like personal friends of ours. Honesty, integrity, great people. Adventurefrontier.com.
I don't know where that piece went, so that ain't gonna work.
So, Okay, there's another one down at the gazebo.
Yo, you're fine. It was in the truck bed. Can you tell?
Yeah, I've had that same issue. But the bigger question is, Mama Bear, let's just make sure we're having this conversation. Your name's Mama Bear, and so maybe you're a tactical female badass, and you're gonna go to your closed range, and you're gonna do what you do. There's actually a really interesting YouTube channel called Tactical Girlfriend.
Oh.
And it's a young lady, I don't know, she's probably between 20 and 30 years old. She does all like the Haley strategic shit. She's got the slicked out plate carrier. She does gear reviews, the whole nine. I think she started her channel during COVID, and so she only wears a mask. No idea what she looks like. That's fine. She's got interesting information.
Her
just
internet
OPSEC.
OPSEC
It's
is
just
on
OPSEC.
point.
That's really what it is. I think it's like strange dudes stalking her, so she wears the mask.
Right.
But she's got a good channel for women who are into tactical stuff. Bellatrix Training, Stephanie McGanty, women's firearms. Like, if you're into that stuff, and that's why you want an arm, you said a bulletproof vest, right? And so that's something different than hard plates armor. So if you're into the tactical stuff, and that's why you're asking, that's cool. If you, as a woman, are concerned about incoming rounds, your population density sucks. You live in the wrong place. And also, it's cool if you're a tactical badass woman. That's not your role. You are not the primary war fighter. At least you shouldn't be. And maybe it's a lack of headship in your home. Maybe priorities are wrong. I don't know, and I'm not judging. But and we get the question all the time too, Bear, where do I get where do I get armor for my kids? If I gotta put armor on my children, things have gone so bad, we are so far outside of the types of situations that I am going to allow to exist while there is air in my lungs. It's not even a discussion I want to have. And so if we need to armor our kids to exfil, we live in the wrong place to begin with. I think the better question is, how do I GTFO from the place that I am that requires my children to be wearing body armor? Then how do I get body armor for my children? And so, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. What else we got?
Milk Money, put her channel in chat. Her sister also has a YouTube channel
You see the thing from Brandon?
that is tactically and guns
Awesome.
and stuff.
Send it, Milk Money. What happened from Brandon? Who's Brandon? Which Brandon?
What?
Let's
I
go.
don't see a Brandon.
That Brandon?
What are you talking about?
Super
Alex,
chat.
Alex
It's a
Mack.
super chat.
Oh, Brandon Sweeney.
Sweeney.
Hunting 2020, my brother and I in Michigan forest. Accident is imminent and time was quickly running out. Fairfax deployed 4x4s and BZK wipes used and prevented a catastrophe. Hunter relieved and cleaned with a tingly butt. Life saved.
Yeah, we know a soap company for that.
I know exactly what you use that for. Triangle bandage and compressed gauze probably would have helped as well.
Bears knows about it?
Speaking of which, I haven't talked about Hero Soap in a while. Not because I don't love them, I just haven't talked
I
about
mean,
them.
packages didn't just keep arriving.
Stop.
I
my
got a
name
lot
on
of
them.
packages. The P.O. box, every time they're like, "You have a box?" I'm like, "I do." And they're like, "You have a Hero Soap Company box for Howitzer Hill." And I'm like,
Dude, I got
Oh.
so much of your soap in my
I've been wondering where it was. I'm like, how come my inventory isn't building up? Like,
Yeah.
I want to be the soap guy. It's like, oh, you guys have sheep? I have a way for you to wash your ass. This is a nice trade here. You guys stink. Here's some soap.
that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Hero Soap, great company. Americans.
Howitzer. Poor bear.
Howitzer.
Poor bear.
So-
Pick one.
What other questions we got? I think it's funny that somebody wiped their ass with bear fat components in the woods. That's awesome.
I mean, when you gotta
We do
go,
have
you
Hunter
gotta go.
Orange kits.
We do have Hunter Orange kits.
Somebody wants to know, should they get one for each of their family members, or which one's best for a family of 5? Which kit?
Okay. So it depends on what kind of family you have.
Good question.
I think, yeah, great question. So first, an SOP, standard operating procedure for us, is that every vehicle has to have a first aid kit in it and a radio. We run ham radios, and that's because of who we are and what we do. And so our SOP is every vehicle has a ham radio, two-way radio in it, and a first aid kit. And so if statistically the most dangerous thing we do as Americans is drive, right? So you need to have a first aid kit in your vehicle. And statistically 91% of all preventable death in the United States is from uncontrolled bleeding. And so we don't need to have just a boo-boo kit. We need to have a kit that can deal with massive bleeding, the M in the March algorithm. And so every vehicle should have a first aid kit in it. So what vehicle is best for the first aid kit? Bare fact, I'd start at the bare fact. The bare fact just checks all the boxes. Now, if, like, I have a family of 5, and we live on a homestead, and we run chainsaws, and we have sheep, and today you bent your nail back, and you, like, pulled a ligament maybe in your hand, and I, like, cut myself with a knife earlier in the week, and I was splitting, and the fence took a chunk out of your pinky, and I was splitting firewood, and a piece jumped back and hit my shin, and, like, we live a full contact life. Right, and so if you live a full contact life, my recommendation for that is, like, your at-home kit is the adventure kit. And the adventure kit is the way the marketing around that is Band-Aids, bullet holes, and broken bones. That's what it's designed for. It has all of the contents that's in a bare fac, as well as wound closure, as well as splints and immobilization, as well as OTC meds, as well as all your Band-Aids and your triple antibiotic cream and your
yeah, it's a basic first aid kit on steroids.
Yeah, it's got splinter out and glucose. Somebody's having a diabetic emergency. It's got a thermometer in it. It's a comprehensive
kit.
Yeah,
it's an absolutely comprehensive kit. From Band-Aids to bullet holes to broken bones, that's what the adventure kit is for. And so if you live a full contact life as a family, that's what I would recommend.
Sam said no, you have a family of 55.
I have a family of 55? Yeah, about. True. True.
So we have 10 adventure kits.
Buckets too, man. That thing's legit.
Yeah, well, in the wound care bucket, and I want to talk about this briefly too. I don't intend that every time we hop on a live stream to just end up talking about, like, medical stuff. The whole idea behind the Q&A here is you ask me whatever questions you have, however they're related to the channel, whether it be faith or preparedness or homesteading or community or business or entrepreneurship, family questions, anything that we talk about at the channel, relationship,
everything.
Whatever it is, those are the questions we want to answer. If it's relevant to what we address at the channel, we want to answer those questions for you. But it's also worth pointing out that the role that medical has played in our life has grown exponentially over the last couple of years, and even over the last few months. The businesses are growing, and we're blessed because we're supported by y'all. But the businesses are growing, so they're necessarily consuming a larger portion of our time and a larger portion of our life. And so it's what's on our mind, because that's what we're doing. We've gone from working an hour per week in my barn 2 years ago, me by myself, 1 hour per week, to a 500 square foot facility with a couple of part-timers, to a 1,700 square foot facility with a few full-timers, to 8,000 square feet with 18 families that eat off of this business in 2 years. In 2 years. So that's like, that's the thing to understand is, like, as the business has grown exponentially, it's also exponentially consumed more of our purview. And so I don't want to, if y'all don't want to sit here and talk about medical all night, I don't want to sit here and talk about medical all night either. I'm not sales pitching anybody to death.
Another question.
But if you're gonna ask those questions, I'm gonna answer them. So I hope that's clear. So, hear them frogs over there?
I want to go frog digging just for fun.
It's not
Alex
one.
wants to know ETM, Great Bear Fact.
Alex.
There's somebody who ordered when you said we had 4.
Yeah, so when Alex, you're one of the 11 people that ordered a Gray Bear Fact when I said we had 4 in stock.
Right.
So,
First come, first served.
I don't. If he was a
if
question,
you
I could
need a
give him an
legitimate
ETA.
ETA, if you would just go ahead and email sales at Refuge Medical, they'll get you a legitimate ETA. They'll handle that for you.
You got a pet Sasquatch?
Mm. You didn't know? I got a pet
I
Sasquatch.
didn't know.
Sam ate him.
Is our question? Do you want to talk about how we do custom kitting?
Best.
Oh.
Custom kitting? Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that, even though I just said we don't have to talk about.
Yeah. I got
Medical,
another
all right.
question. I got a
Send
different
it.
one.
Good
Ask
question.
about chickens.
What is the best way to get folks from chat to meet up?
Folks from chat to meet up.
Have a look.
Well, yeah, there's well, this brings up a bigger conversation. The forums at Bear Independent are going away. BearIndependent.com, the forums are going away. There is a Discord server for Bear Independent, and the Discord server is run by JS Badger, and every Sunday in the community section of Patreon, a new link that is good for 1 week goes up every Sunday. A new link that is good for 1 week goes up on Patreon in the community section for the Discord server for Bear Independent. So the forums on Bear Independent are going away because the Bear Independent website was built on a platform called Wix when we were very early in our internet journey, and it turns out Wix is not a very powerful platform. It's not conducive to what we do. And the only reason that we've kept that website that long is because of the forums. But the ability to continue to transact business at BearIndependent.com is being hindered by the fact that it's a Wix website, and so it's going away, and therefore necessarily the forums are going away as well.
Right,
And
but
so-
Badger has done a most excellent job of transferring most of the
Good
really
content.
good, important information that was on the forums over to the Discord server.
Right.
So we're not really too terribly worried about information being lost.
And then you've got 30 days if you
Yeah,
like
you have
your
until the end of
favorite
March.
article that's in
Yeah,
there.
you
favorite
have
link.
you have 30 days to get that figured out, and then we're doing a not a transaction. We're doing a cutover from the
Transition.
Thank you, from the existing Bear Independent website to a new one, onto a different platform. What that platform is doesn't matter. But when that happens, the forums at the Bear Independent website will go away. And if you want to get plugged into the Discord, go to the community tab on Patreon. But all that to say, lots of people are coordinating meetups on Patreon. Some of my favorite stories are when people are like, yeah, we thought we were all alone in this preparedness journey, and then I was at the grocery store and I saw a bear sticker on the back of a pickup truck.
Right.
Then I started talking to that guy, and they were like, hey, you know Bear? I'm like, yeah, I watch it. They're like, what's your favorite video? And they just started exchanging bona fides that way. It's like, what does Bear say about 22 long rifle? Like that back and forth. And they're like, turns out I thought I was all alone. And there's already a MAGA mutual assistance group right here with 3 families in it that we found because of a bear sticker at the grocery store. I think that shit's awesome. I love it when that happens. But people are orchestrating that organically on the forums and on the Discord. And the Discord is set up by region. So if you're in the Northeast, in the Southeast, in the Midwest, in the Upper Midwest, in the mountain regions, and Pacific Northwest, etc., it's all set up that way. Additionally, Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness on his Patreon page has what he calls the Viking meetups, and there's a vast Viking network across the United States that if you're into preparedness, you should check that out as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Vikings, bears, and pirates.
Texas, she said, my wife told a woman that comes into her store about your channel, and she is now prepping and following the way.
praise Yah. And shalom, Texas T. Good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
It's great to see him at ATS.
At ATS, yeah. Men's retreat. Yep.
Somebody said, where's a good source to order beef bacon? So find a local butcher, contact said local butcher, and see if one of their meat suppliers has it available, because usually it's like a special order item. You're probably not going to find it like in a store somewhere.
Somebody said they saw it at Sam's Club.
But I did also find on foodservicedirect.com, they do have beef bacon available for sale by the case.
Yeah, most of the time you have to ask, and the case is not normally like 100. It's like
No,
8,
it's
like
like
8 or 10. Like
Yeah.
and they're not even usually
Maybe
like 12 pounds. Yeah, 12 if it's like a lot.
Where you find a
It's not
kosher
crazy.
grocery store near you?
You can also Google beef bacon
And make it.
and make it
Yeah.
from a beef brisket, like our brother Jay Johns does.
Oh.
He has a channel that he shows how to make it.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know he's doing some work on his house right now. I've been following him on Instagram. He made some beautiful countertops. You got a question over there on the talk?
I was just gonna have you say bye, but there actually just popped up a question.
Oh, what's the question?
You already answered it earlier, so they were asking the difference between a bare min and a bare fact. So
Oh.
I'll post that separately
Okay.
for them to see since
Cool.
they just jumped in a little late.
Well, I appreciate you TikTokers. Thanks for
Yes.
hanging out with us. We do this every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube, on the Bear Independent channel. So feel free to come on over, check us out on YouTube. I know that's like old man technology. I get it. I told them it's owned by Google, the machine, man. I understand. But if you would be willing to take your cool points down a couple of notches for me and come hang out with us on YouTube, that'd be great. 7 p.m. Central every Thursday. And also, there's a lot of really valuable content on the YouTube channel. So just check it out, man. There's over 4,000 videos between YouTube and Patreon. There's probably an answer to your question. So happy trails, TikTok. Shalom.
Shalom.
Bear, what is your name and your wife's name? Terry in Quebec. Terry in Quebec. My name's Bear and her name's Hami.
Cycling food, not all.
Zach, no offense. Apparently we got some back and forth on the Zach. Is there a Zach attack?
I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
That's insane.
I don't know. I wasn't listening or reading.
Nah,
It's not really listening.
Nothing really.
That's fine, but it's still.
There was some talk earlier about, I guess, our friend from the north
Yeah.
is promising that there's going to be a world war, guaranteeing that there's going to be a nuclear war.
I don't
and I was like, he's doom report.
I
Right.
don't
That's all
believe
he
in
does is
I don't believe in
fear-monger.
false prophets,
I know,
and I
but
don't take advice from
guaranteeing-
atheists.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and to that
Got
to that
bets on
point,
it? Like what?
Exactly.
to that point,
It's not
Justin
best for
Schuler
business.
said, "Ending in prayer tonight?" Question mark. I get this question a lot, and I want to just be straight up with you. I've said it before, but I'll say it again.
It's okay.
I pray when the Father tells me to pray. I don't pray on demand. I don't pray for show. I don't pray for approval, and I don't pray for endearment. I pray when the Father tells me to pray. And so if the Father tells me to pray, then yeah, 100% I will pray. Just like when the Father says, go to Kentucky. Yes, sir, I'll go to Kentucky. Go to Florida. Yes, sir, I'll go to Florida. Hey, go rescue these kids that were sold as products for sex. Yes, sir, we'll do that. He says jump, and my job is to say yes, sir, how high. It's the same thing with prayer. I don't pray for show. And if the Spirit doesn't move me to pray, I'm not doing it. And if the Spirit does move me to pray, I'm doing it. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, the only thing that is more difficult for me than being disobedient, I'm sorry, the only thing that's more difficult for me than being obedient is being disobedient. Oftentimes, it takes a lot of me to be obedient. And that's okay. It should. An offering should be worth something, right? You have to give of yourself. But I don't, and I say this with love in my heart, but I don't pray for you because you want me to. I pray for you and I pray with you when the Father says to. And by the way, I don't have a monopoly on the Holy Spirit. I don't have a monopoly on the ability to commune with the Father. We are all sons of the Most High, daughters of the Most High. And you can tap into that by simply getting into his will and seeking his face and asking him, talking with him, having a conversation with him. And so I pray when the Spirit says to pray, not when anybody else says to pray. In fact, I've had other brothers say, hey man, you want to pray? No. No, I don't. There's some interesting stories around that as well. And now,
Sorry,
it doesn't mean
When you were there.
I don't think there should be prayer. But it does mean I ain't the one doing that. You want to pray? Pray. Now, it's different if a brother comes to me and goes, hey man, I need prayer. Because that's a lot like, I'm about to fall flat on my face and I need somebody to help lift me up. Roger that. That's different. That's different. But you, every one of you, men, you are the priest of your home. You are the intercessor. You are the priest of your home. You should act that way. And again, I'm happy to pray with y'all when the Father says jump. But if he don't say jump, then I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for show. I'm not doing it to impress anybody or to endear anybody. And if you think it fills you up with light, when I pray, get down on your knees, put your face on the ground, and speak to your Creator.
It's just around the corner.
Way to go, foe. Get down on your knees, put your face on the ground, and pray to your Father in heaven and see how filled up that gets you. Yeah. And we're going to end with that. 2.5 hour live stream. I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for being subscribed here, and for everybody who supports us on Patreon, and everybody who supports Grindstone Ministries and Caleb House, which I will have an update for you guys coming shortly on that. A lot of stuff in the works, and I don't want to speak out of turn until some things solidify, but I'll have an update on Grindstone and Caleb House within a couple of weeks. And then also thank you for supporting Refuge Medical and Refuge Training. You guys are the best, and y'all have a blessed evening. Shalom.